life. Welcome, everybody. It's me, Susanna. We've got a wild night ahead, pre-election night. So we got a little bit of information coming across. Whether that's TV, radio, video, Morse code, whatever you want. We're at the top level now. So, of course, just a minute ago, and she's somewhere in a very strange land, but I'm just going to pull up the screenshot. Now, did that work? Can you see that funky Katie Roby is the question. I just look at her face. But anyhow, I'm not using her dumb video. She's having a big 24-hour live stream this weekend to raise money.
Give me 2 seconds.
Not for the holiday baskets, for the sick people and the old people. But she has to go on vacation.
Read out this link.
Now, what that translates into is basically this. Let me look at my own
2 seconds.
Okay, here I am.
To tweet out the
So what
link.
this translates into
Spooky.
is, you remember 2016 we had the pre-election crap. The Elvis,
To tweet out this link.
whatever it is. It's a code. Let's just call it that. 2017 CCN is still
Tweet out this link.
promoting and publishing media. And everybody's dropping off because the cons of it. It's 6 degrees of separation.
Tweet it out.
And making new aliases. So, by the end of 2017,
Enough of
Channel's
that.
reverb,
Enough of your shenanigans.
AKA,
So the child
is due to him squatting on my channel.
childish.
because
I was thinking of a title. I was
Biggie
trying to think of a
was
title that
anonymous.
would generate
You know,
frisson. That would
Ms.
get
Wonderful
people over
lives,
here.
what,
Hopefully get
thousands of
people to the live
lifetimes in one
chat.
day.
I was tempted.
So this is
You know
code
what I
for
mean?
criminals
To
who
title it
create
something
multiple
like
aliases, is what that's all about.
F you Trump
And
or booing
at
on
the end of
supporters,
2017,
MAGA,
our
you
beloved
guys in the
cat
face.
has
But I didn't
gone
want to
missing.
press.
Now this is when they're still in the Netherlands, because
Vis-a-vis the
we're dealing
algorithm.
with the Computer Misuse Act.
So I just
And
come
here
to
again,
everyone's got radio
IPs, routers, and servers.
Simon Parks
So
did an
they're
update on
supposedly
the
in the
16th. Here we are on the 19th.
Their cable, the outside
Let
wiring,
me see. Let me check. Let me
gets
check.
cut,
See if
and
whoever did it steal.
CCN goes down the
Whoever did
toilet.
shoot.
And she's
See if
accusing
he did
people
anything.
of way, 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 way worse
A lot
than
of
what they did to
people
me. And
did
that's how they
shoot or going to
redirected my
cover
story
account with Donald Trump
through the entire thing.
is going
Well, anyhow,
to.
she has a fundraiser for this cat.
He's still not
And
using
then
the
they
He's
real
go
gonna go
to
give a
words,
speech.
real
Morocco. She wants to use
names.
it. No. And you can get to Morocco, you know, in the way this script runs, that you are now,
I know the script.
what do you
Believe
call
me.
that?
I
Like,
wrote it
There was
against
one.
me.
Clarity
to
by
get
Sunday the
picked up or
24th.
taken away.
Okay, so we're playing it day by day here.
You know Mel V.
Just pushing it out day by day.
Her story.
Yeah, I would love to tell you. I would love to.
begins
I know
with,
that we know that
her life
David
as a
Wilcock
wealthy,
did an updated the day or
well-to-do
two
little
ago.
chubby brat.
What can I tell you?
Goes
I
back
mean, I
to
think at
South
this
Africa,
point,
and then you get
you
into
see,
the
it's
black
like
power struggle and the rich
I
white
think it's going to
people
be
swag. But
Yeah, this is all about
course,
disappointing
wanting
to
to bring
see
slaves to
how
France.
normalized the
And
conspiracy
Yes,
theory, pro-Trump
aliases would be
conspiracy
like
theory
a deck of cards.
redirect is.
Let's go back to Rex Bear and
we
his
wanna
Illuminati
see
cards. There's the answer.
them
So they stack the
have
people, and they
to,
do this in government too.
deal with
The CCN is a major
or
political
have an
platform.
equal have a response
They talk about
equal
it being
to
a
the
conscious
bombast
consumer, but
that we saw
of
them
course,
express
channel is
during the 4 years
and
of the
always
Trump
has been some
presidency.
kind of very weird
This whole booing on
where
thing
all
with
the
the whole,
foreigners come in.
amazing
and start
revelations
their
to be
stuff
had, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and trust the plan.
And that's why now we're getting multiple messages.
But you know,
And
I've been
comments in
down
other
this road
languages.
before. I've been part of
And I'm
conspiracy
not
theory community since like
saying
before it was
anything,
the
but
biggest
if
thing
you're
on the
in
internet.
America,
You know,
we've already established
I'm not trying to BS anybody,
ages
but like, you know, like I remember
that
like
everybody's
the
gonna
days
speak of the
before
English as
you
the first language.
buying books in underground
So back
bookstores.
to Mel's abducted
And
cat
you know,
and
when we
meltdown
first
of
started to go
CCNC
onto the web
Morocco,
and stuff,
and
and
this
you know, we've seen this thing happen before.
ITNJ
We
and this
saw, you know,
Sasha
2012.
Stone, all
You know,
these
we saw
big
the build up
stories
to
that the
2012
Americans
and the
love
massive disappointment that
are
those
all
that the
bullshit.
community
And
shrank,
they're
that people
Americans
abandoned
imploding our system
those
from
YouTube
inside
channel and social media,
and using
the beginnings of
these
social media portals
fake
that they
accents. And
gathered
that's why
around
now everybody
in
from
anticipation of the
Craig
big
Ferguson to
Mayan
your
energy
brother, or
transformation.
my brother,
You know, no, they just, you know, they kept
AKA
on enjoying the
Dadgum.
community that they had discovered and created and kept on supporting people, and the circus moved on.
It's not Stephen
Wilcock, Project
It's
Camelot,
James Forward.
you know, who was it?
Oh, the fake
In
accents just
5D, you know, a lot of these
stupid.
people
All right.
just
It's
just
also
kept
another
rocking and
cover. It's like
rolling.
gluing
You know
on
what I
a
mean?
mustache and putting some
And in
boobs
fact,
on
grew,
it, like you're,
you know, over time.
so
you
whatever.
know,
You're
I
not
think you'll
even
just
a male
see,
or female. You're
you
just
know,
a
a downshift
conglomerate of a bunch of body
into
parts. All right.
other things.
Well,
You know, blue orbs in the
2018
sky and
it's no different than the end of 2020. It's a 2-year cycle.
whistleblower, secret
Going
space
hiding.
program,
Miss
whistleblower
Wonderful, aka
interviews,
Katie Roby,
and
the Miss Wonderful brand, or Miss
the latest
FBCKIG,
energetic developments,
yuck.
an
You know,
ongoing
these people
series and
are not
cycle of
only contagious
the
and
event.
dripping
You know what I mean? A lot of
worms
people were
and
talking
contagion
online recently.
and
You might
doing
have heard
these
a lot of
electronic
chatter.
scams.
You know, if you're
ask
plugged
why.
into the New Age community
And
on
you ask
Facebook,
why
on YouTube,
you
a lot of
would
people are talking.
do
You're probably aware of
anything
a lot
on
of people
the computer,
talking about
which is why I won't
the event.
ever use
So
my
we're
Apple
going to do
iPhone
something
again.
special here. I have my friend
Oh, there's a reason.
Storm Shadow Moon Cloud,
Can't wait till y'all
who
find out
channels
what it is.
an extraterrestrial
I'm just
collective,
Okay.
panmorphic
So you're cursing.
entity
Right now,
known
our
as
video is
I
still
reject all
The
that
Gathering.
nonsense.
and it's called
And we're
Try
just going to
Step
talk to them a
Away.
little bit
She
and
tried to
you know,
do it
feel
once
for this
before,
event
and it made it 40
and what's
seconds
going
and
on.
got shut
You
down.
know,
As far as her description
dear
goes,
ones. There's been a lot of talk on
She
the
has
internet, and
a
if you're plugged into
maroonish
YouTube and
shirt
Facebook, you
that's
probably heard
cut up,
endless
and it's
chatter
her
about
Ms.
this thing, you know,
Wonderful
the event.
new shirt she's
So we're
gonna
here
sell.
to
But the
share
funny
our
thing
wisdom, information, and
is
insight.
yesterday in the mail, I received a maroon shirt.
Loopity
And
loo.
she's been imitating my life.
And they're just going to eventually, you know, is there going to be a comeuppance? Probably not. They're probably just going to go into, and now we get to talk about Joe Biden. Now we get to critique Joe Biden.
Because she's
And
done
now we
this
get
me
to
so many
analyze this
times.
videotape of Joe
Okay.
Biden.
So,
And now we get to talk about
I
whether
got a new
Kamala
shirt
Harris is
and
a
what it is, you know, I like it off the
black
shoulders, okay?
ethno-nationalist
This isn't a shirt
lesbian
for big girls. This is
with
a
an
shirt
agenda to kill
that is off
90%
the
of the
shoulders.
white
And
male
then,
race,
you
right?
know, the little model had some shorts on.
Or
some
don't
cowboy
forget
boots.
5G.
She
We always have
was being
5G back
Susie.
in
But
the
anyhow,
corner to go to.
in the video, Mel
So,
has
it is what it is. I would love to
shirt
tell you that I
that I
analyzed
know
some
is
hot new
imitating
hot
this
take
color.
from
But it's really more red. and
internet
that's because
land.
she works with green screens.
But we
and
see,
blue
I gotta
screens.
tell you, so I follow,
and
not only do I
avatars and
follow
games
primary sources,
nonsense.
that is, not only
So,
do I follow on social
Here
media,
again, she's
pro
cut the collar
Buanon,
of it.
pro MAGA,
And
pro Trump,
It's
ultra
all
right
about
wing
imitation. Her makeup now
pundits and
beginning of this
influencers
video
on social media
is not
to know what
on
the other
yet.
side is talking about, to
But
know what they're
what she does
discussing
is
and
her
what's going
makeup
on.
and talks about all her
I also follow a litany
boyfriends and her
of
lovers and
people who have
raising
made
money
it their
and
business.
going on a
You know,
vacation and buying
Travis
some new clothes.
View,
And this is
poker and
Ms.
politics, people who are coping
FBCKING
MAGA, parlor takes,
47,000
people who have made it their
subscribers.
business
And it's hashtag
to
live,
look at
hashtag
the
reality
ultra
TV,
right wing,
and
Trump
hashtag
supporting
Miss Wonderful.
community online,
And
and
this was stream drive
bring
21
that stuff
minutes
up to
ago
the surface.
from
So I can tell you what's
she-
going on. And
you just
what's
don't even
going
know
on
how many
is
different routers she's
essentially
in,
it
so she can
seems
be
to be
anywhere
like a kind of
anytime.
a
But I'm saying
Buanon,
she's here in St. Louis.
like chrysalis cycle that's going on,
Yeah,
where a lot of
I'm
people are having
not even
the
getting
same
into all that
reaction,
crap, but
which
she's
is
close by, and And so
I'm making this last
St.
statement
Louis Central
on
Standard
social
Time is
media.
12:40
I'm making
p.m.
this last post
And
to let you guys know.
it took me a few minutes to
Have
set up
faith.
because I really
Those who
wasn't
abandoned
prepared
the
to do
faith,
this.
yada
And I
yada.
believe
Those who kept the faith,
this will
you're
be going
awesome.
down.
And
She'll make
you
it
know, trust
unavailable, and
me,
that's why I
this
need
is
to
gonna
go
happen.
fast.
That's gonna
Now,
happen. That's gonna happen. Which
what
is
I
the
was
latest
doing
thing is
was
this. It's
going
all
over my
about this
video.
CGI Biden.
What is the
That this
Computer
is
Misuse
a
Act?
fake
Zeus
inauguration and
versus
all this stuff.
Vermaze. That's Mel and Biggie.
Then
Another alias.
the
Then
the
I was
pattern,
also
the
watching
posting
my
pattern
own
seems to be keep the faith.
playlist
F you those who abandon the faith.
where
The best is yet to
I'm
come.
going over the
Lay
facts and
low,
evidence
stock
of the
up your
Computer
supplies because
Misuse
everything's going to
Act. And
happen
this is
now. And then
allegedly,
I gotta go dark. I can't be
just for the
here. I can't
UK,
be posting because it's all
like we've
going
learned since
down
we're a
in the
global
hood.
society,
And
there is no way to restrict this internet
look, here we are on
to
January
one
19th,
area with the
2021.
let's
There's
call
no
it the
doubt.
virus, the God
No
gene
doubt in my
virus,
mind
which doesn't mean
that
they
the
have
inauguration
the
is
God
going to
gene. It means they're
occur.
corrupt. They're working with their animal brains,
I don't
they're
believe that there's going
liars,
to be,
and these people have had
you know,
the entire
large scale
system. And,
systemic,
you can't really
violence
just
or
blame
disruption.
America, but
I
right
just really
now, that's
don't,
what's
given the
playing
fact
out.
that there's like what
And of course,
65,000,
the election
between
is
the
bogus.
thousands of National
So
Guard
these
troops.
people that
We're
I'm
going to
gonna
follow
show you
orders, so
here
we're
how
not going to
creepy
be
they are.
facing a court martial
Actually
the
are who
next
run
day
our
for doing
government.
some sort of
You
radical
see what
move.
I mean?
I just
Kinda
don't,
like
I
we
don't
know
have
the whole
fear.
story with Trump or any of these
There
other
may be
people
people
that
in
are
this
playing
country
it
who
out.
have faith that something radical
Here's
like
your
that's
lower
going to
level
happen. I don't
YouTubers
have
doing
the
it.
fear
So
that it is.
I was learning as I go, and like I said, these aren't
I
from
think that
people.
it's unfortunate but
They are
true
for
that
evidence
given the
for the world.
confluence
They're also for
of
me to
the
learn.
health
They're
pandemic
also
that
under
is
the very
raging
start
in the
of
United
the
States of America,
1976
coupled with
that I am
the
documenting
after
my
effects
life.
and the knock-on effects
what
of the
has happened.
violence that we saw on
And
January
I
6th,
always originally
that they are
leaked
doing
to my
this kind of
grandkids.
non-inauguration
So we're back to
inauguration.
the beginning of the
And
story.
that's
But
unfortunate because,
in the
you know,
meantime,
it'll
this is about
provide,
fight for freedom
it doesn't
and
provide
revolution
us with the good
and the
visual
people that manipulated behind the
template
scenes.
that the Trump team
So
tried to
first what I'm
doctor up
going to do
in
is pull up
2016,
this
acting
video
like there were more people that came
that
out for Trump than came out from
you will
Obama.
be
That was
hearing, and it's
absolutely
coming into
smoke and
evidence.
mirrors propaganda.
You might see
Photos
it
at
just by
specific
the mirrors
angles,
here.
juxtaposed
So let me get
photoshopping is
started
incredible.
and do
What
what I
people
need to
did.
do for the
And it's
world at large,
unfortunate that we
including
won't be able to
myself and
just
my
simply
family.
have a nice visual reference point that I have faith that under normal conditions would have been the case where we would be able to say to the Trump supporters, well, here are our numbers, here's the number of people that showed up, so yada.
Single platform,
So,
that's how I came online.
I think there's an explanation. It's unfortunate. Sometimes you can have the right position. Sometimes you can,
talk to her. It's January 11th.
have the normalized, correct understanding of a thing, and yet conditions exist that you know will provide an opportunity for strangers with candy to exploit, weirdos to exploit and do something. So they'll be able to say,
you can see the
God, for
screen
the
better.
next
I've
4,
opened it
if
up,
not 8 years,
but I can't go back to the live
whatever.
stream.
I mean, I'm not a Biden
So,
supporter.
If you
I'm
see
not a
it,
Biden
you do. If
guy.
you don't, it's great.
Either way.
So,
it's not like I'm hoping for that this guy gets 8 years. I really, could give a damn really about all of these, pro-capitalist, pro-normalcy, pro-centrist, middle exploitation of the working class douchebags. I did vote for the lesser of two evils. You vote for the lesser of two evils, you're voting for evil, So I'm not in the bag for Biden, not, carrying any water for him. We will not be carrying any water for him over the next 48 years, depending on what happens. So it's unfortunate, though, that they'll be able to play an endless game of the reason that there was a non-inauguration was because they knew that people would be able to see that Trump won, or
let her know that there is a guy.
There's no support for this guy. He doesn't have a mandate. Or at the more extreme angle to say, oh, you see the CGI. You can't. People were there. They'd known. They'd see that nothing was happening. Or they'd see that he was turned away from the White House. So they do it this way. And so we know, it wasn't legal inauguration. We know that Donald Trump remains the real secret president. He's gone underground to fool the cabal, But this is life. We deal with life on life's terms, and there are things that are in our control, and there's things out of our control, and there's bummer stuff we just have to deal with. So we deal with it. So I come to you on this day before the inauguration and say, hello. Here we are. It's Tuesday. We're scheduled to make a video, so we're making a video. I wish I had some fruit salad and fireworks for you. Some great quotes from bizarro aspects of the other teams, missives. But I really didn't have time. I had time to take care of work. And then I had time to come here and talk to you. So what I'll do is I'll start looking at the live chat. We'll see where we go from there. Lord Doe, first on Periscope. But I will say Spooky is first on YouTube. And the timestamp for both of these comments is 4:15. So we're not going to say that anybody beat anyone between the two, but we're going to give the Periscope gold to Lord Doe. Spooky grabs the gold on YouTube. We got Rooster Cyberbs grabbing the silver on YouTube, followed by Jason Albert, receiver of the bronze. But it's incredible. It looks like actually looking at the timestamps, it looks like Spooky, Rooster Cyberbs, Jason, and Kid Cosmic commented at the same time. We have Fires and Truth, aka Spooky, grabbing that silver on Periscope. We have Mario Heat. Mamma mia, spicy meatball. There you go. We got Lord Doe checking in again, doubling down on YouTube. We got Spooky. Okay, so wait. Gold on Twitch. So there you go. That's 2 and 3. 2 to 3. Spooky says I got all 3. It's like the YouTube. You got the YouTube. Lord Doe. Here we got Periscope. Let's see. This is both at 4:15. You know what? This is an unscientific method. You know what I mean? This is just we're screwed. Mario, he saying I'm 2-time trifecta champion here. This is the kind of shit you say when you've not scored today. But God bless you all. God bless you for joining up and hanging out. Rooster Cyberb shares information with us. The new theory is the military is taking over tomorrow because of all the military. Yep, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I don't have fear that is going to take place. Though I understand that there's people in the world who have faith that it will. Look, there are people who, if you've invested this much, it's like cryptocurrency. With all due respect, cryptocurrency goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. And there are people who have made their career, who have staked their livelihood on the ongoing support and success and solvency of cryptocurrency, right? Once you do that with anything, you've lost a certain amount of freedom to be objective. Okay. And I let them know. Even if it's not in dollars and cents, even if it's just energy investment. When we think about the stakes that are at play for a lot of people, the things that people are saying that Donald Trump was, the reason they were supporting him, and the real reason that they believed him, what they thought drained the swamp next. I mean, these people do use terms like good versus evil. When we think of a global currency reset, we have to know and understand that people are thinking of solutions to life-threatening problems. Economic disparity and economic disenfranchisement is fatal. We have people who are survivors of childhood trauma. We're investing time and energy in things that they think are aimed at proving the existence of or eliminating the problem of childhood trauma. Like the most extreme variety. I have taken over. Biggie is too pissed off about this to deal with. I'm I can understand why it's not easy to jump out or to realize on November 11th or whatever, okay, we ran the election, ran the numbers, our guy lost, see you in 4 years, see you for the local elections next year, we'll see you at the federal elections in 4, and we'll hope for the best. Start our grassroots activism now.
And they put me out of business stealing my data.
But it's just been surreal to see people when they should be able to say, when they feel like they should be able to say, we came, we saw, we tried our best, we got arrested by the FBI.
Just to let you know, saying
and they're going to say, people used to say, speak of generalizations, they used to say, they people on that team, the MAGA team, said what they said. Oh,
deprived you of your human rights, nor should you have to ask us for
TDS, Trump derangement
syndrome. Pay for it. Flexibility with regards to the website, no intention.
I guess depending on your physiology and psychology, Trump derangement syndrome can come in 2 strains, right?
I should just be upfront.
Anyway, we got Zerdo over on Twitch. Thank you for checking in on Twitch.
Maybe like you guys did tonight.
Mario Heat. So did you guys receive the emergency broadcast? Any darkness reported somewhere? No mass arrest yet? Apparently all the rest happened.
You can see by how many messages now had.
Lord Doe says Parks did an update on Steele's channel, bro, and it was full wackadoo. Oh my gosh. Was that on YouTube or Twitch or on BitChute? Let me see. Reason that we're here.
Am I doing all this for no reason though? Because you're seeing me as a mirror.
But what I also want to do is I want to do a review. There's a movie of Benjamin Fulford. Look at these videos. The last one that I saw was this Charnel Wolverton RDS on spiritual conversions of ascension. That was scheduled for today's segment. We've dinner with Juan to clarify. We've dinner with Juan to clarity by Sunday. Dinner with Juan 2. Maybe that's the title. Clarity by Sunday. Oh, Robert David Steele, Charlie Ward, 6 hours ago. Oh, 19th of January, update current news. So why is he updating it to Robert David Steele's YouTube channel, but he's not updating it to his own BitChute? Because I looked at it.
This would say Journalism Academy. It'd be in a green box.
It's going to be complicated. It's going to suck for you guys. It's really going to blow.
It's blown up full screen now, but downloaded.
I'm going to.
I don't think you see anything, but
let me do this.
You know, it's funny though, with the mail.
So I guess we do have an update. This will be crazy. I can't wait, but we might as well get it on the record, right? The purpose of this video is the purpose of the analysis of any third parties' statements regarding the elections or the conspiracies regarding same are not designed to be demean or to shame
is on this, and Terry Joyce
any third party. Rather,
they're all on
it
the
is to
So like I
provide
said, whether it's
fair use
freedom radio,
analysis covered under fair use because it's transformative work, it's
these are
editorial
your
work,
online
and if what these individuals are saying, these individuals who claim to have insider sources and resources, if what they're claiming is true, then it's by definition newsworthy. If they're spreading disinformation, then it's by definition newsworthy to cover the dissemination of disinformation and rampant violations of YouTube's terms of service. Yada yada yada. Let me get to the end of the. I see Lord Doe gave us a donation of $10 New Zealand. Let me just get there. This one, Day of Darkness. So Jean, kiss some ass. I love it. Let's go over Parks' video. There you go. Lord Doe says Parks didn't update a few hours ago. You know what the problem is? I forgot that I wasn't just subscribed to Robert David Steele's thing. So we see that and I checked BitChute, but I didn't see an update from him there. Oh no, so Mario Heat says, I wonder how long before they say Biden and Harris are Kabbalah clones. We've already seen the CGI storyline floated, and we also have seen the face-off scenario, which is when you see Biden being inaugurated and Donald Trump going to trial and being convicted, indicted, tried, and convicted for criminal offenses. When you see Trump go down and go into the prison system, that's actually Joe Biden. And when you see Joe Biden be president of the United States, that's actually Donald Trump, because they literally did the face-off from the John Woo 1995 movie Face Off, where FBI agent John Travolta has to go after the criminal enterprise, criminal mastermind, Nicolas Cage. And the way he does it, they scan Nicolas Cage's face, and they exchange their faces. Like, I don't know why you can't just give the one dude a mask, but that's okay. First of all, that's the level this is what we're dealing with. We got hologram clones. Here, Lord does as I think Simon paid his latest update today on Steele's channel to try and dodge another YouTube strike on his main channel. But why not update it to his bit shoot? That's what threw me off. There you go. Chris Connolly, Obama's another disaster. Absolutely, I agree. Listen, I'm a fan of none of these guys. We say hello to Tom, we say hello to Lindsay Shelton, we say hello to Maggie Woodward. Thank you for coming on, showing your support. Jolly Bridgebone is here. Lynn Woodward, same thing, Donald. So let me go. Let me hit play on the. So I'm simultaneously looking at the live chat and listening to Simon Parks' January 19th, 2021 update. I hope this works.
I just don't roll over.
Oh no, but that was years now. Maybe now that I'm older. Oh my God. Patience on here.
Do we think someone with any crimes to their name is likely to walk into where these National Guard troops are? Well, first of all, National Guard troops are not law enforcement agents, so it would have nothing to do with it. Also, if a person's just been accused of crimes, if they haven't been indicted or tried or held victim, found guilty of it, then they've got nothing to worry about, or they wouldn't be under any special supervision. I'm gonna miss a lot of what he says because I don't want there to be dead air. There used to be this thing, mainstream media show. Very real possibility of what?
Lottery tickets. Why not?
No, I haven't.
Tag Sunny Rosario and lottery
There's a recording done a few weeks ago, ready to roll. Show to the world.
Tag burned down.
Share screen. I don't want to be even if we're playing fair use before we get to fair use, you have to defend it if there's a copyright strike, and I just do not feel like dealing with it. There's no point. You've seen an old guy talk. No offense.
Okay, so this is what I'm
the beach. Let me type
Oh,
this
never mind. Yeah, then you go out past
She's on trap. This is the other thing that they have to commit the crime fully. So the reason that you see Biden get
They know I will stay alive.
supposedly elected, and the reason you see the electoral college votes being called for him, it's not actually evidence that he actually won the election. It's evidence that they're stringing him in, right? Because it's a little crime to commit election fraud. It's a bigger crime to accept the win. It's an even bigger crime for more people, catching more people in more trees, to have the electoral college vote certified. And so when he actually sits up there and puts his hand on the Bible, that's a sin against God, and that's what Donald Trump's going to be like, I've got all this evidence. National Guard, assemble, assume form, Voltron, form of legs.
HTML. And we have internal card.
Stephen, Stephen, with all due respect, if you could do me a favor, I'm not trying to oppress you or suppress you. We're not equipped to handle that information here. We're not equipped to analyze or refute. So just do me a favor and don't talk about that stuff. It can only get my channel in trouble. It can't help anybody. And the people that are convinced of your position, that there's something suspicious or weird or something that needs to happen or does need to happen, probably already much think that way. So it doesn't really, do me a favor, just leave it be. Also, people die after vaccines. That's a fact. You didn't know that? People die after vaccines. That's not abnormal. That's actually not abnormal. It's unfortunate that things happen when people going for routine, appendix surgeries die. Then we shouldn't do appendix surgeries. It's unfortunate, but that's life. And I'm not even listening to Simon because it doesn't really matter.
All toxic chemicals and ingredients and materials. That's why people are getting
He's
reactions.
repeating, and also Simon Parks is just generally repeating information he's already told us about, the people going further and further into the mousetrap.
That's why we should buy America or someplace organic, clean textiles.
There's already been arrests, but people are running on automatic pilot.
Just trying to show
They're running the mainstream media is running anti-Trump pro-Biden information because they're like a snake with its head cut off, just kind of flailing around.
L.JS. Sergeant of Police, State of
I'm doing it right now.
Missouri, my dad. And I've inherited it.
They're not talking about the supposed incoming president. See, a lot of this stuff is just like refutable. Like if we go to the mainstream media websites, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, they all covering Joe Biden.
Bunch of dorks.
So
And they say snitches get
the media is
stitches.
beginning to become aware
Talk about just
that this is not going the way they thought it was.
police spell
It's the
rich,
level
Missouri.
of denial. Do you know what I mean? You go into your bedroom of the house you pay for, right? You pay the rent, you pay the mortgage, whatever. And there's your old lady, legs in the air, dudes just being dogpiled by your best friends, the whole crew, your whole operation, your pros.
Okay.
It's an optical illusion, she says.
Assistant Chief
Shiny from
Police,
Greece.
Village, Missouri.
And you sit there and say,
Larry Glass.
okay, I'll take your word for it.
Larry Dean.
That's obviously what's happening. There's going to be preliminary action today. January 19th. Here we are, 4:48. I love you, baby. How much is in the public domain? How much isn't? Well, you're mixing metaphors because public domain has to do with property and intellectual property rights. Oh, God, this is a shame. The lawyers of Ice Earth, John Schaefer, appeared in court today regarding his involvement in the Capitol siege.
Yeah.
Fake news. I hate sponsored fake news. God bless you. God bless you.
Open
Bless you for
source.
set up all the
Like in
fun.
2014 with Ferguson. Tag it.
That's it.
Like I said, I will shut down all of my electronics when
Say
she
what,
goes
Trump?
live for 24 hours. See how good she does. Mayor of Portland,
Still listening. We're
Indiana.
listening to Simon Parks' 19th January
that's not my
update. I didn't have a
dad,
chance
but
to
somebody
preload
gave
it, pre-watch it, take notes for you. So I'm listening to it in the background as I'm being entertained by the live chat. So we got a lot of dead air here. I sincerely apologize. I'm missing all of what Simon is saying, but I essentially it's nonsense.
Comes from Indiana.
We're nearly there, he says. We're nearly there.
Teresa,
You've been saying that.
which would be another
You
one
said
of
this
her
about
assistants.
it's gonna be a landslide election. He lost the election. Oh, it was election fraud. But don't worry, the Supreme Court is gonna turn it right. The Supreme Court bunts. And you say, oh no, well now Pence is gonna take over. Pence then certifies the electoral college results. Oh no, now it's a mass arrest. Now it's all happening. It's all gonna go down. And I say, are you enjoying this, guys, on the other side? Are you enjoying this? Do you really think you're gonna ride it all to the end? Like X number of Patreon donations, X number of
No
PayPal
wonder we don't
donations
have a day
by
young government.
January 20th, midnight?
Thursday night for Friday night, and then Friday night for
Wait.
Saturday night.
What's this?
What did Tucker,
Friday night for Saturday night.
what did Tucker, now he's quoting things by Tucker Carlson, and I don't think that Tucker Carlson is.
$3,000 for a website. Way more than that. This was years ago.
Fox is pro the president.
broadcasting.
Gina had,
Just
or
consumer network.
you said
So
Gina that used
Until
to
they
live
weren't,
around,
what I got from them. This is not
Now Fox
doxing.
doesn't seem what
Your
to know what side of the fence they are on.
or
Well, the
whatever.
only thing I would say about that
This
is
is
that
how
you
they do
can't
it.
tell if you've been watching covering Fox and Friends. I
Right.
listen to, there's a YouTube channel called The George Report. I've paused
There's my
Simon. It's 20-minute
grandpa's
videos.
badge.
We can dip in and out.
What I thought.
You know, Fox News, Fox and Friends used to be this like stalwart of Trump support. Now there's a war
These
between
people
Steve
have been
Ducey
doing
and I
this
forget
since
the other guy.
2010. They've
Because
been doing
Steve
it a
Ducey is
decade. I've
like,
been here
dude,
half of the
he
time.
lost the election.
When
Like,
they were
let's just
already
can we move
crazy.
on? And like the
Before
other
I
guy's
got
like,
here.
this is some bullshit. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't know to listen when he says Tucker Carlson says, because I bet you he misrepresents even what Tucker Carlson says, which Tucker Carlson says crazy. Remember Tucker Carlson was the first guy that all of the MAGA team turned on because he had the audacity of saying that Sidney Powell wasn't bringing the sauce. And Sidney Powell was saying all this stuff about these nonsense conspiracy theories with no evidentiary support, and that was really extremely problematic. I have to be out of here by 5:30, by the way, so let's keep it going.
Life perplexed tried to get in.
It's a coward's way out of Fox News. You have to decide which side you're on.
This woman.
Tucker Carlson said the National Guard in the buildings, 27,000
And I live
now,
next door to
30,000
gunshots going
tomorrow.
off every day, and everybody looks.
We're
at me.
controlled by the
Here's your
Democrats.
pre-election.
You're my prized possession.
Democrats control the Pentagon because that's
Baby Royal.
Simon Parks is going to refute that. So remember, according to Simon, Tucker
You know what
Carlson
I
said the
do?
National Guard inside the building, 25,000. You can't fit 25,000 guys inside
Put your
the
hands
Capitol.
back.
I'm sorry, they're indecent.
Go like this.
That's okay. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody for misstatements, but the National Guard is controlled by the Democrats, according to Tucker Carlson. They also control the Pentagon. Well, that's just like the notion that the military-industrial complex is a product of, like, the Democrats are involved. All of Washington, D.C. is dirty with the military-industrial complex, which has to do with finances and lobbying rather than like governmental suppression or control. But remember, wasn't the military supposed to be the guys who are going to take over everything? Wasn't the National Guard going to take over things? The Simon Parks is going to refute Tucker Carlson, so I'll bet you dollars to donuts. The next thing out of Simon Parks' mouth is that the Pentagon and the National Guard actually loyal to Trump, and they're gonna hit on the 20th and arrest everybody. Let me see, we're at 8 minutes and 4 seconds of his reporting.
Get the fuck out of here, fly. Oh my god, I'm invaded by flies. Son of a bitch.
They come around the day.
24-hour live stream. Not gonna lie.
The
it's
National
gonna be,
Guard aren't loyal
I'm gonna try
to any
raise money.
mayor.
I'm going on vacation.
They're not
soon,
loyal to any
and I'm gonna
governor.
do
Ellen
this,
Page
and
said
I'm gonna have to go.
on
So
Fox.
that live stream.
They're loyal to their officers,
And I'm going to, when I get back,
Alright,
and their
now this
officers
is
are loyal to the president. You know, they're actually, it's a fact that there's members of
I
the
then
U.S.
actually
military
have the
that are
boxes
gang
here. My
members
parents away.
that are loyal to the Crips and the Bloods and the Latin Kings.
she's going for the
Like that's like
insurance
they
money.
used to be reporting about it all the time during the second
Did you guys see my shirt?
invasion of Iraq and the occupation of Iraq. They were saying crazy things like, isn't it incredible the amount of gang signs that show gang graffiti that's showing up on these
It's alive.
buildings? And then they started noticing in California and New York and different places, they started reporting like these
Anyways,
gangs that used to be fairly disorganized organizations were now doing military strategy and able to take control of huge blocks and control police officers or firefighters with like, you know, a fair bit of acumen. Because so the point being is that the military is made up of,
She feels
you know,
sorry for the
hundreds of thousands of individuals, some of whom are Republicans, some of whom are Democrats, some of whom are Wiccan, some of whom are Satanists, some of whom are white nationalists, some of whom are black separatists. There's all sorts of people, And guess what? They're all going to do their fucking
food
job.
drives her hands out.
People do what they're told,
Bunch of
generally.
fat people saying they're hungry.
Not because it's the chain of command, because that's what they want. So Simon Parks, former driving instructor in
Oh
England,
yeah, what I wanted to
is going to
say.
tell you about like the mental
This
state
is when.
and
This is
assess the
when-
totality
shut
of
up.
the mental state and psychological
This
acumen
is when
and feeling
Danny
and
Arnold
you know,
McKinney, which is
you
Life
know,
Plus, and a whole bunch of other
Joy de
laws,
Lejeune
and not Lars,
of the
and
American
Wendy
National Guard.
Leeds, and
Okay,
all of
whatever.
that.
I think it's just showboating.
That's when they would not pay CCN allegedly. Her and
For years, all sorts of law enforcement is
dark
coming to
hair
attack.
gal that looked half
Kamala
dead
Harris
with
was a
vampire
prosecutor.
you know, she talked to
city
me.
cops.
You have Danny and Lisa, who are the
They will be brought to account.
FBCKERS. So now you have, and I'm not going to say
But for the
that
vast
word
99.9% of law
represent
enforcement
them and
who are
get my
absolutely
video
appalled
troubled
at being
over.
vilified
So anyhow,
and children
this is when
being
they split and
abused in
divided.
schools
So like I said,
because their mom.
Mel goes underground and
Now he's alleging that kids are being abused in
And
schools because their mom and dad are in law enforcement.
Other characters,
Well,
which
look,
is
that's not true.
Penny G.
Where's the reporting
and
on that?
Is wonderful. And Katie
They're not going to
Roby
support Biden or the
and
Democrats.
Laura.
Dude,
and all
listen.
these people, they are all
Listen,
CCN.
you
They
think
are
it's
all
the
people
case that
running
for
the government
over
right now
200,
because we don't
30
have
years of American
legitimate,
history, every man, woman, and man and woman who has
whatever
served
you
in the
thought
armed
it
forces
was.
has been like
and everybody knows
awesome,
that. So I
like
wanted
with
you
the
to see
who's president, who's the commander in
happened.
chief,
because this all has to do
Republican or
with the
Democrat.
time.
Of course not. But
Trump
you do what you do. You take an oath,
elected.
and the oath,
then
the
they
Constitution of the
act like
United
this
States
is
says the president is the
third run
commander
coming
in
down.
chief. Deal with
We've
it.
only seen him be president for 4 years, not 8 years. I mean,
Democracy
surely Trump
requires
was
an
president,
alternative voice,
um,
and they don't have any alternative
in
voice across the
2012.
world.
Give
Why?
me a break.
With
That
the
was
cabals of
Obama.
control.
And see, that's why they've been playing all these games
But-
and putting people behind their images that they are harassing and stealing.
So
and
he's telling us
setting
that the
up and
National
calling
Guard are not going to take any
espionage
orders
people.
outside of the chain command.
What?
They're only going to take orders from their
How
officers.
can you be guilty for
But
something they're
Simon,
doing?
the chain of command
But here
goes
again, this is
soldiers
the wonderful world
through a
of
rank of
reality TV.
officers up to a
So,
general.
Let's get
And
back
guess who's the
to what
commander
we
in
were
chief
all saying
of
And
the
this fake
United States
accent
Armed
here
Forces?
would be the
Who
same
gives?
one
Who's
as
the
who's your
ultimate
accent.
authority?
I'm
Who
not
is the
saying which
titular
one is
head
real.
of the chain of
And they have
command?
these machines
If you
that
can
they
read the
use.
U.S. Constitution, there are aspects of the U.S. Constitution and constitutional construction that are nebulous and hard to understand. There's language in there that people read and go, you could, as a layperson, not necessarily without someone explaining it to you. Say, it's confusing. I don't get it. The person who's at the head of the chain of command of the U.S. military, that is not hard to understand. It's not inscrutable. So if Joe Biden gives the orders, they're going to do what they have to do what Joe Biden says, or they're going to call court martial. Well, we've been over this with Simon Parks before. We've dealt with this aspect of Simon Parks' coverage, which is just there's certain things that he is just absolutely ignorant or misconstruing regarding U.S. law. It just is. We've documented it. We've talked about it. I didn't say that to mock or make fun of him. I say it to speak truth to an analysis.
This kind of shit. I'm tired.
No, there's not gonna be any rights
of
tomorrow.
this
Trust
crappy
me.
last 4 years.
All I got for you today. I'm gonna go fuck off.
Hold on.
Wonderful fucking day.
This sounds silly. He's got an inside. The former driving instructor, Simon Parks, is about to tell us he's got an insider into the Pentagon. Hold on, I got you.
There's nowhere for you to escape to. There's nowhere for you to go back to.
Hold
Your
on.
contract things.
Wait a minute now. For those of us joining
so
us,
what you're in now
I'm covering Simon Parks
is
in real
C,
time,
and
or
let's tag
I'm
that
watching this video in real time.
447 Beers Show,
36,112
and
views
my
from 7 hours
ex-son-in-law,
ago.
Zach Goldcamp, and of course Danny Arnold McKinney is in Orlando. or
Through Trump.
Goldcamp.
So no.
This is a family
Simon,
matter.
he's
they
no
have
longer on the
totally
inauguration of the President of the
blown
United
out of
States
control
tomorrow,
because they hurt the
January
grandchildren.
20th.
They
Donald
trapped
Trump
the
can give
kids.
no orders
This
and
all
sign
goes
no
back to
executive
Sen
orders.
Gardner, or this Ananias, this Zach, this C.
The Pentagon doesn't take orders from Biden. Well, not yet. They will tomorrow.
So
When the majority has to be phoned up to Joint Chiefs.
Oh, and UPS bringing more gifts.
How can we stop the
Go
president
back
having
to those
nuclear
bad
codes?
bridesmaids,
Can you give
all
the
that
codes to me?
bullshit.
She never said that.
I haven't received one penny. I
She was
haven't
told
received
respectfully.
one parcel, one letter. I don't get my emails,
President
Gmails,
President
nothing.
Trump is the commander in chief. Would be
Nobody
totally
sees
against.
me on Twitter. I'm shadow banned on YouTube, even though I mod these.
So he says that
I mean, it's
Pelosi was
stupid. Let me read this.
rebuked when she wanted Donald Trump not to have access
Over
to
the next
nuclear
6
codes.
months,
I don't know what's up with that story, but Simon Parks is going to tell you that some sort of insider information that she was told. Simon Parks has no access to anyone, any functionary, anybody with command at the Pentagon. Can I guarantee it? Do I know that for a fact? I'm absolutely confident in my ability to assess that based on who Simon Parks is. Former driving instructor who, before he became and joined up with the whole QAnon, MAGA, pro-Trump, brouhaha that took over conspiracy theory culture as we knew and understood it. He was a member of the ufology space contact with our Universal Space Brothers contingent, right? He was adopted by a manta alien. His spiritual father or some sort of biological father to some degree was the Anunnaki god Anu.
Heinous acts were committed just
He had a triune soul, three souls or something. Part Hobbit, who, if no offense, is a fictional character, fictional race of people created by Tolkien. Part Manta, okay, and part human. Whatever, okay. Crystalline DNA. He could bless a piece of iron that you could hold in your hand and it would dispel demons. He could do a star seed reading for you until your past lives and all this stuff. He was an online psychic as well as foolishly going forward and making himself the subject of ridicule by appearing in a BBC pseudo documentary talking about contactees. You know, where he said he had extramarital relationships with an alien he knew as Cat Queen, fathering an alien hybrid baby named as Zarka. And then this whole, and just like a lot of people, like Wilcock, like a lot of other people, when the whole conspiracy theory land went going on in pro-Trump and MAGA, all of a sudden that stuff takes a back seat. Don't tell us about this angelic alien race. Don't tell us about this hybrid spirit contact. Don't tell us about the Knights Templar and, ascension or disclosure. Wait for that. Tell us about mass arrests. Tell us about Second Amendment rights being violated. Tell us about people who wear masks during COVID being real jerks and cucked by mainstream media. Tell us about Tom Hanks' sweater collection and what that really means. You know?
In my mind, was way better. You know what I mean? Like Doug was a police officer. He was all these things that I was okay. Yeah, together.
Because it's good for his. It's good for his racket, Stephen. Stephen says, why does Simon think he knows everything about American laws? Because it helps his. He'll know that Democrats don't control the Pentagon when something terrible happens to him. Nothing's going to happen. Simon, you're going to lose. No offense. Robert David Steele, Simon, Juan O'Savin, David Wilcock. Your team is not going to get a last-minute win on January 20th. Biden's not going to be turned gray at the White House. Donald Trump is not going to come in on a white steed and save the day. It's over. And if you don't know that it's over, I don't know what to do to help you.
And I just want to say to people that we have spoken about in nations.
It's very inflammatory of Tucker Carlson to say that Democrats control the National Guard. Because that tends to what? He's saying, well, no, he just said that what Tucker Carlson said about the Democrats saying that the National Guard are controlled by the Democrats and the Pentagon is being controlled by the Democrats is very inflammatory because that would lead the people to believe that it was quote unquote up to them. Those are Simon Parks' words. Now, watch Simon Parks say something that's actually inflammatory. I bet you anything he's going to say it's up to the people now. People learn their lesson, dude. We're going to storm the Capitol. We're taking this back. And then you get abandoned by Trump. No one's getting a pardon. Dude, the time for pardons is gone. It's game over. Those people who went in The dude from the guitarist from Iced Earth, the guy who thought he was so cute posing at the podium, Baked Alaska, the guy who thought he was such a genius for taking Pelosi's mail, that's mail fraud. You stole somebody's mail, that's a federal offense. You took pictures of yourselves during an insurrection invasion of the Capitol building. You guys are not going to be prosecuted under, say, Attorney General Barr, Trump appointee.
And make
No,
comments.
you
that
guys
go
signed
into
up at the
evidence,
last
they
possible
remove
moment.
them.
Hey, I got a great
And the
idea.
computer
I
still
got a great
grabs the
idea.
algorithm and
Yo,
watches
this other team is about to
before they
win
do that.
the election
We just had to get to this
and
place, I
replace
guess, and this
all of
was
the
today's
pro-Trump
about.
guys in the Department of
So,
Justice
here
with
again,
pro-Biden
This
people.
idea
You know
that
what I
you
think
can
we
go
should
in
do?
and do acts of
Let's
terrorism
commit a federal crime now.
and then erase these videos is the most profane thing that has happened.
And let's not do it with
Since
masks
the
on
global
because we
hack
don't want people to think that
in
we're so
2018,
stupid as to believe
where Apple said they were
scientists
screwed.
and
They
doctors
changed
when
their
they tell
numbers
us that there's
up
a
and acted
pandemic
like
around.
they didn't know. They
Bad
didn't
design.
care. And then here comes Trump with a new Apple.
So he has no clue what Tucker
Peloton
Carlson's playing
in
now.
Texas.
If you remember the very recent ball game between the Army and the
Sue should be
Marines,
absolutely fine.
the Army won. They have that
At
game
this
every
point, he has his
year.
hair bleached rooster yellow, and Mel has put one half blue and one half red. It's all pastel.
The captain of the
It's their
Marine side was the only one to
hairdressing the whole
shake
time.
Donald Trump's hand.
And stealing all the data for it.
It doesn't mean the Army guy was being disrespectful against the relationship. What? The Marines and the president are incredibly close. This is just like life is like it is in the John Wayne movies. It's like John Wayne movies.
It's fine.
Dude, people don't have to like. Do you think that a ton of the Marines loved Obama? No, but you do what you do. Today we should see something. He says. He said this 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago, on January 19th. Simon said we should see something happen today. And I just want to say, sure we will. Absolutely. It's totally obvious. It happened, you said it 7 hours ago. Here we are at 5 o'clock. We all think it's going to kick off tonight. Dude, they're not going to get themselves the pro-Trump MAGA people are not going to get themselves in trouble again. They saw themselves get, first of all, the most extreme elements showed up on DC on the 6th and got arrested.
And it had some kind of time attached to it. I don't
You don't think that the Proud Boys are being
what.
watched like a hawk?
And I didn't know
You
what
think
that meant.
those guys can move?
10 or 11 in the morning. And then it told me
Will Trump take the oath of allegiance in the White House?
something that if I wasn't, the
Nothing will
host or
happen in the
whatever,
building, we can say.
that I couldn't get in. And so that's
Because it's
what
such
was
a
going
bad
on
smell
earlier.
of the deep
But I'd
state.
never seen
Deep state's
that
all
on
over the
the
White
shows
House.
before, so I didn't.
You would love to see President Trump take the oath of allegiance in the White House tomorrow. He doesn't think that's necessarily going to happen. He thinks, 6 weeks to 3 months.
So
Buy yourself some more time. Simon Park says he would love to see Donald Trump take the oath of office in the
it
White
was
House
like
tomorrow.
a busy signal.
But he thinks this is the whole wanna say them in Robert David Steele
And
interregnum.
this is all stuff that I'm figuring out.
It's going to
now, but it had
seem
no
like
idea
Biden's
3 years
president, but
ago.
really
That's
what's
why
happening behind the scenes is no one's president.
This education that we've received on the World
And
Wide
he
Web
says 3 weeks to
is
6
so
months.
important for the future.
Play
for
it
the other
out.
generations for life
Stretch
to
it
survive
out.
on the
It's
planet.
not going to happen tomorrow.
Because when you watch an
No matter
actual
what you
act
see
in real
tomorrow, it's a
time,
fake inauguration. Don't worry,
and
trust
it's
the
so
plan.
embarrassing that the government
Keep those PayPal
basically
donations going.
walks away and says burn it
Keep
down.
those views coming in.
Whether it's the alternative government
Keep
or the
supporting
true
me.
government.
Keep supporting
That's
me.
the answer that we're not allowed to have.
Of course, he didn't see anything.
It's really
He
pretty
told us it
stupid.
wouldn't happen tomorrow. They told us
I mean,
3
when you
weeks to
think
6
about it,
months.
everybody
I guess it's going to be
trusts
3 weeks to 6 months for the 10
technology
days of
and the
darkness
computer
too,
to do
huh?
all these things that actually criminals are in control of. And of course, they've known since the 80s that there's this back
And then
door.
President Trump will be invited to come back in
good
as the legal
hackers
winner of the
We're
last
trying to
election.
compile lists
Sure.
out of the phone book. And here again, now we have no phone book. And people
There's an
call
advantage
doxing.
to a civilian
If somebody
Donald Trump
knows
president.
that you live at your own address, which was always public information. So it's continual misinformation and
Period of
lies
treason and insurrection. That's what's
as they
occurred.
opt from town to town.
You could be labeled as the man who harshly took down his
Or sit in a
enemies.
parking lot across the street and mooch your Wi-Fi.
Great Britain, who had an English Civil
And then,
War.
of course, they do their acts of terrorism, and it goes back to you.
Difficulty feeling between King
And
Charles and
their
Cromwell. You're talking about the Roundheads are going to go.
Is
So I guess what
easily
he's saying is
denied
that
by
it's going to be good for
on
Donald
burner
Trump not to be
phones.
visibly the president when there's
You know,
this military
remember there was
takeover
that
and these
show
mass
that ran
arrests,
so
because then he could be accused of, like, you know, treating his enemies
This is
harshly.
all
But if the
over
military
the
comes over with a military takeover
that they're
and, like,
in
runs
the
shop and does all the
institutions.
military arrests and the
They're
tribunals on
teaching
TV,
kids,
and then Donald Trump
and they're
comes back
hurting
in
the
as
teachers.
appointed president, then
And
it's
we
going to be
are
kosher. Well, the
teachers,
only thing,
and
see,
they
it's infuriating to
are
listen to this stuff
mentally ill,
because this person is
and
lying
they're
to
teaching
people.
people how to be
Whether he's
mentally
doing it
ill.
intentionally, I don't know.
Spreads
Whether,
like a
whether he
virus.
actually believes that this stuff is actually the case, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay,
But what we do
give me
know
my
is this.
vocabulary.
What he's saying is incorrect information. Is not going to happen the way he's claiming it's going to be. Just say that he's not alone. I don't want to put this all on Simon, him, Robert David Steele, David Wilcock. There's a ton, Kerry Cassidy. There's a ton of people who have made it their business to make up stories and to tell people
Oh,
that what they see actually happening in the world is not actually happening. What's actually happening is that they're winning when they say that they're losing. You know what I mean? It's like there's that
And
music,
Billy
what
G.
was it? The Music Man.
actually had videos
The
where
little
he
kid
talked about
sees
he was the
friggin'
one spreading the virus. And
what's
that's
his
why it's
name?
called the coronavirus.
The main guy.
See now,
Skipping out
we
of
know
town.
COVID is the respiratory part. We know acquired
Where's the
immune
instruments and taking their
deficiency
money? Where you go? Oh,
can
you know?
be caught through technology
You know what
and the
I mean?
computer. But most people look at it like
This time about
AIDS,
Cromwell.
from having sodomistic sex or exchanging needles. Now you realize that you can be SpongeBob.
So Trump is actually clever because he's saying he's not going to be tarnished. And he doesn't want to be there to influence
It will kill you.
the legal and
the
non-legal
same way
possibilities of what?
That a LGBT drama-filled AIDS pandemic will also bring to you. And in the end, that all started.
He can't come back and be president because he lost the election. And if he didn't lose the election, he would have proven in one of these lawsuits. Where is the data off of those Dominion servers, right? How many months has it been?
This happened with
It's just going on. This is just fantasy land.
institutions here again, whether they're jails, prisons.
And I want to take a look at David Wilcox's views because we've talked about bot views on Wilcox's channel, and I'm looking over at his total views. And this may have really, we may have seen a whole bunch of bot farms abandon ship.
Just like you don't erase the stupid laws.
Simon sees the value of Trump stepping back, letting independent, non-political people clean up this mess. It's like a military takeover. It's infuriating to hear a foreigner say that in your country there should be a military takeover and a suspension of the Constitution. It's just really disgusting and infuriating. You know what I mean? It makes it hard for me not to get myself in trouble by making fun of this man.
Is CW Chanter's own testimony.
But it's okay, Simon, because if you keep on doing this, you'll get your sell-by date because it's an old cycle. A person comes on the scene and they get tons and tons of praise because they tell the people what they want to hear. And the people get told what they want to hear, and they give their PayPal donations, and they give their views, and they join up to the Facebook group, and they blow up your numbers and everything. And then after a while, they get pissed off, and they're left with a choice: accept that they've been believing in lies, or believe that you're the liar and you're the problem. And so they just ignore you, and you go away, and the latest new guy shows up on the scene to say all sorts of malarkey.
The British things right here. Some basically ended, but
they have to. The mainstream media have to allow Donald Trump's alternative speech go through, because if they don't, then they're committing treason. We heard him say that yesterday, on the 16th. And then the military have to go in. Sure. The military's not going in. Nothing's gonna happen. Congratulations.
Yeah, they're cloning my page. They're
Yeah,
watching.
nothing's gonna happen, Simon. Enjoy it. What are you gonna say, Simon? So what's Simon the David Wilcock and Carrie Cassidy and the My Pillow guy and Nicholas Fuentes? And what are they gonna say? And all these other people, what are they gonna say on January 21st whenever this happens? How about January 30th? How about February 1st? You don't think he doesn't think they'll let anybody down?
No, I think
There we are.
You haven't gotten
Fairly somber.
Do you do it or does Mel do it? Or do you both do it?
He's not going to be gung ho. Simon's not going to be gung ho. I'd say you're being fairly gung ho. You're making predictions. You know, the greatest nation in the world. Some places called the United States the greatest nation in the world, which is a little bit like, you know, your abusive, rapist father saying, metaphorically, him as a proxy for, because he's British. This is like Britain saying to England, like, in America, we're so proud of you. Well, really, we're slave owner colonialists, women beaters just like you did. Everyone should have an opportunity to see this. It has to be covered around the world. My Pillow got some love. I loved it. Like, here's some suburbs. This guy was saying, tell Dominion to sue me. And Dominion's like, okay, no problem.
Joe knows more about hair color than most hairdressers do. Just from
So now here's what's crazy.
30 years, you know.
There's a whole bunch of people that have made their careers spreading this BS. There's also a whole bunch of people who have made their careers by covering this BS and exposing this BS. What's Travis View going to do on the 21st? Right? What's poker and politics going to do? What's Parliament going to do? You know, come March 11th, 2021. Simon Parks is not going to celebrate the complexities of what's about to go forth, but he will celebrate the truth of what's about to go forth. I think that's what he said.
All right, now we're going to go on.
He expects more stuff to happen tomorrow. He just said that stuff's going to happen today, but he expects more stuff tomorrow. Oh, he said, did you just say, hold on.
I heard a story that
Truth's
in
gonna
the
break
first
America
year
when
of
it's free.
broadcasting,
Something will happen today.
crowdfunding
Something will definitely
to
happen
raise
tomorrow.
enough money to pay her. Go back to Miss Wonderful.
4-star General Hyden.
And
It's too late to go back now. It's already been activated. Sure, whatever. Let me take a look at these comments. 1,068 comments. Let's see what's going on here.
You know the true nature comes out, don't it?
You kind of know what my real flashback was.
Oh, God. I'm not even going to say anything else.
Yeah,
Like that Christian contact.
right.
That face falling off her skull.
Okay.
That's very nice, isn't it?
Oh, that's not a good look for anybody. I'm not sure it's our
Let's see. But I did want to do this. Let's go over here. Hold on. I'm just going to do this. Let's see what the actual numbers are. Oh, yeah. Look at this. This is great. Check this out.
I'm feeling too good.
Well, you know,
This is fair use coverage of newsworthy information. I'm just going to share a screenshot. You see this? Hold on.
Have you noticed how
Yeah, yeah.
we're building looks the way it's the
January 19th,
It's like a gal that
2021.
had the fucking heat stroke by the
When
pool.
was this published?
She had 3 Red Bulls and a fucking monster drink.
Oh, they had to re-upload it, right? Is that the thing? Because so this is just the re-upload. When was this uploaded? But even still, 35,521 views. This guy normally, after the video's been up, would have so much more.
Speed up, slow down. Slow down.
It's like I used to
Let me
have
see
to
something.
grade
Hold
up,
on,
wake
hold
up, and go to sleep. But that was just like a half a case.
Oh no,
of beer.
even still, look at this. Look at this.
There was no
Look
pills
at this.
involved.
So the councilwoman, or whatever
Wait.
her deal is,
This is crazy. So check this out.
she's a lawyer.
Really?
11 hours ago, 35,000 views. Normally that would be like these numbers, 302,000
She looks like
views.
the butcher ass on Channel 5.
So this is 1 day
Yeah,
ago.
pretty little black
He's got one
girl.
video.
Yeah.
3 hours and 12 minutes and 55 seconds. with 261,000 views. And then he's got this one, it's a re-upload, 91,000 views. See? It's like a distinct drop off in cut.
People are still so confused
And again,
about
you know,
us
the
in the
notion
street.
that
It's so much fun.
3/5 of your viewers, of your subscriber numbers are represented in your actual views. This is like unheard of. Look how consistent these views are. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not gonna try and dig into the weeds of this thing. We got 10 minutes with you
We must
guys.
start loving each other.
10 minutes with
Now
you
is the
guys.
time.
Tell me what you want to tell me.
Black Lives
Enjoy it.
Matter.
What are you guys looking forward to? Is anything gonna happen?
This
Do you
is
think
the,
anything's gonna happen tomorrow? You think nothing's gonna happen tomorrow?
The
What are you most excited to see?
weird caravan that came
Do you
first.
care? What do you think that these guys are gonna say? I mean, the notion that Simon is still out here
Channer.
acting as though something is gonna happen. You know, it's just
8:15 on this video.
good luck with that. You know, it's a game over. It's like at a certain point, it's like just it's easy to just
Okay,
admit
this
that you
video
lost.
is called Regarding My Appearance on CCN.
And what makes the views on the
this is
re-upload
Channer.
to have them be like that close to the original video
Answered in the chat.
is like because you
Regarding
really
my
think, hold on,
appearance.
300,000 people watched
And
it
if
the
they
day
don't
that
give me
it
a chat, at
uploaded,
least I've got
and
a
then
good
300
here
like
to see.
35,
I've
like
almost done
150,000
700
people
videos
wanted to see it
regarding my
again.
appearance on
No,
CCN with Z.
it's just patently obvious. Like I'll make the call
847
based on
views
my ability
on CW
to
Channer's
understand
channel,
and appreciate how numbers
December
on YouTube
9th,
are expected to work.
2016.
And the number
He
of
had
views that
me
we
on
see this guy
spirituality
getting,
and
like,
politics
this
at
guy
the end
is
of
claiming that he's getting like
So,
Jeffree Star
They
or
are
Joe
coming
Rogan
swinging
numbers.
for
It's
me
just
the
not.
minute
It's just
that
not
I leave
feasible
CCN
that it
because
doesn't
they had
involve
set up the veto
bot
thing
views.
in
And we've
June
caught him with bot
2016
views because
when
I've
I
talked
was
about this.
there.
I covered it. I was watching the
And
David Wilcock
believe me,
live stream.
when you're
I can
getting attacked
put my
that
hand
hard
on
and
a
fast,
Bible, a Bhagavad
and
Gita,
they
and a
set it up
Quran
like
all
a
at the same
setup
time
I
and say,
really
I
had a
swear
clue.
to Jesus, Buddha, and Allah, and Krishna,
Well,
that on
this
such
is
and
what
such a
everybody
date, I was
winds up
watching a
with,
David
and you get the
Wilcock
fake
video,
drama
and all of
community and all that.
the people, the
But
names in the live chat
I
went
say in
to
this
sex
video we address certain
number
comments made by viewer
names.
TOITCCS
You know what I mean? Like,
Prague,
you know,
and then I put
slap me, big
CZ
titty
in
Asian,
parentheses.
big dick
Regarding
69,
my recent
69.
decision.
Me,
Be interviewed by
me
Z
love,
on the CCN
you know, white
and attempt
cock.
to clarify
You know,
and
it was all these sex names, and they were still saying all the MAGA stuff.
See,
It
they
was
were trying
obvious
to
that there
get
was a
me on their
glitch in the system at the friggin'
and Z
they took
was
the
even
chatterbait
creepier than CW, but
bots
looking at
and
Z
accidentally
today,
switched
I
the
have
names
to
over
tag him
to the MAGA
before
accounts.
Sports
It's patently obvious that that's what happened. You
father
know,
of my
it
grandchildren,
is what it is.
and I haven't seen my daughter
There
since
you go, Benjamin. More
2012.
doses. Benjamin Fulford is another wackadoo whose mental
dead
gymnastics
or
is
crazy.
astounding. Remember that Benjamin Fulford was one of David Wilcock's contacts and one of his inside sources for these mass arrests and all this stuff. And whatever happened to the white red dragon? What happened to the white dragon ambassador? And where's Benjamin Fulford as the red dragon ambassador? Is he the red dragon? I get confused about who represents which colored dragon. I keep my resources handy to make sure that I don't
All right,
get
now
things
let's listen
confused.
to what he's saying, because,
Enjoy the view.
like I said, this is all coming into me very quick. The Kevin Annette thing. And
Okay, let's see. I got to check here. What the red dragon
well, let's
family
go back to
represented?
Trump admitting that the
6th level
Vatican,
spells. That's
the
not it.
Catholics
Part water,
are
permanent
involved and
illusions,
run.
dragons,
And
marriage,
he said that,
man-eater.
what, about a month ago,
What?
before he got
Where are
his
we? Dragons.
whatever he got and did the dance.
Okay.
And jumped around.
Here we
You know,
go. We
there's
got
so many
river
things that's
dragons,
happened.
a typhoon
And
dragon,
Admits in videos that
goblin
are
spider,
backdated almost
Gargantua.
30 years that he doesn't have to worry about these things because he'll never run for president. And then he gets put in position of presidency. And this whole thing plays
Oh, here we go.
out.
White dragons,
Whether
red
you're
dragons.
selected or elected
Alignment.
to vote is compromised. And that's what they're dancing around. So,
According to this, We can expect Benjamin
On
Fulford
we
to
go
also have
with
the following abilities.
needless hundreds of
Usable at
thousands
will
of
once
deaths
per
that
round,
come from the
less,
placebo effect
curse,
and the spell casting
omen,
and the poisoning
fate,
and the stress.
dispel evil, control weather, and remove curse. They are able to use certain major creation and reward
Church
once
and
per
state
day
were
any
never
person
divided.
accompanied by Chiang Lung, aka
Oh, and
Benjamin
one more
Fulford,
When I
to
type in the
breathe and move
title, of
underwater
course,
just
that's
as if
my
you want
video.
dry land.
So you'd have to go back to see
Maybe it'll help that with the
videos
National Guard.
back
Remember,
to
give them that
December
ability.
of 2016 to
There
find
you
the video
go.
where he talks about being
There
on
you go.
CCN. And like I said, it's been dirty deleted for years.
Levy Velman, Marfugo, Dustinino, Stefango with the real
ITCCS.
zoo. Please stand up. There you go. Too much fun for one day, right? Where do we go from here? Where do I go from here? Oh yeah, Lord Does says, oh my God, no way. Fulford was a Wilcock insider. My word, vouch for Wilcock to take that guy's word as legit is truly insane. Let's do the master list of Wilcock super secret insiders.
And I'm not paid
Drake
lawyer.
Bailey,
I haven't
who
gone to court.
David
I'm not
Icke
involved in these damn
in
lawsuits.
David Icke's,
ITCCS
I think it's Humanity Getteth Up Off Your Knees,
When they ask for
as a
things,
whole, like has paragraphs dedicated to how David Wilcock shouldn't be trusted and is muddying the waters of the true enlightenment of people regarding the conspiracy because he relies on nonsense people like David Icke names Drake Bailey by name. It's Drake Bailey, Benjamin Fulford, Pete Peterson, Mendoza. Look at David. When we come up with our master critique of David Wilcock and why people shouldn't listen to him for information regarding politics, world events, world affairs, and secret movements behind the veil, it's because we say he does not know how to vet insiders. His insider sources are worthless because when the insider sources come to light, they come to light as people who are just natural born storytellers. Like, make of it what you will. None of these people have any evidentiary support for their claims, and their claims get more and more outrageous. The first
That's how they do it.
real video that a lot of people are aware of that Benjamin Fulford did, he's literally sitting at a folding card table with him, this guy who's just like a guy who like is a white dude with short hair and a beard who claims to be like a Russian Illuminati insider, and a guy who literally looks like he's like auditioning for the part of Aja in like friggin' Dr. No the musical. Honestly, he's there. He's got like funny glasses. He's got a funny hat. And Benjamin Fulford claims that this man is the leader of like the United Association, the United Worldwide Association of Martial Artists. And Benjamin Fulford starts giving edicts to the Illuminati insiders like the Rothschilds and the bankers, like Goldman Sachs. He says, Goldman Sachs, if you do not give the money back to the people, I will give the order to have like 100,000 martial artists arrive at your doorstep and do X, Y, and Z. If I'm lying, I'm dying. He says that. That's what he says. Hold on. Dude, there's no fucking way. Like, it's available on YouTube. I'll give you the URL.
Your stated opinions are so
Sometimes the first video that shows up.
limited. And I'm not doing this to justify myself.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, this is incredible. This is incredible. Fair use. Hold on.
I'm gonna let you know. People know.
This is the URL. If you want to see what a David Wilcock insider is, check this out. That's the URL I just put into the live chat. I'm going to share a screen. This is worth sharing. Share audio. Guys, tell me. I'm going to start the video and you tell me. I'm going to start and stop and you tell me if you can hear it.
Are some of my steps the right step that certain people in the audience just don't get?
I can hear that.
He's like John Lansdowne. He's like a Grandmaster
professor of an Illuminati group that claims to have started the French, Russian, and American Revolution. As you may know, there has been a battle going on over the future of this planet. The Western countries have been taken over by a mafia organization, all composed of members of the same.
We're sharing this video. We're sharing this video under terms of fair use, because if what these individuals saying are true, then this is by definition newsworthy. The man at the center of the table is Benjamin Fulford. You will know them by the company that they keep. David Wilcock still cites Benjamin Fulford to this day. Robert David Steele cites Benjamin Fulford and just had an interview with Benjamin Fulford a couple of days ago. Project Camelot have covered Benjamin Fulford. Benjamin Fulford is a regular guest on the what's it called, the Goldfish Report. Okay, so let's take a listen to this guy.
Prosperous and happy in the future. And that's
This is from July 17th, 2012. So this nice. Look at this guy.
Hi, yes, thank
And I
you.
also want to point out the fact.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, so Robert David Steele. This is the sort of guy that Robert David Steele thing. Look at Simon Parks. Simon Parks is in the video. I gotta get out of here in a minute.
This is the first time I've ever been on this kind of show. People have two super rich.
You know, in this era of confusion and turbulence, you need a leader who has a world view, universe view, a powerful leader.
Benjamin Fulford in the White Dragon Society versus Reptilian Illuminati hybrids.
In order to have world peace and humanity united in harmony,
One would have, one shouldn't have said. So look, telling you he did what he did. He made the comment.
they call the people their subjects, so they're a yoke, a slave.
I want to get to the part.
Cause major change. And of course, the Illuminati, who are throughout the Western intelligence agencies, military, and this is not the Italian Illuminati, this is the Gnostic Illuminati.
The Gnostic Illuminati. Let's not get twisted.
They're ruled by the people who are the best, people who work their way up the system, not people who are born into it and given it, kind of given to them.
I mean, this video is the gift that keeps on giving. This is the guy that gave, and then think about Mendoza, and then think about let's not forget about the late great Parker Posey. No, what's his name? Pete Peterson.
Hidden people, societies, murder, bribery, lies, to rule us and selfish.
No, we don't want that.
Yes.
Those days are over, he said. Meanwhile, FYI, in case you're curious, let's just have a moment of clarity here. The air date on this video is July 17th, 2012. Okay, this was around 2012. Okay, that's 9 years ago.
It's difficult to anything that you say now.
Remember, folks.
After you showed up on.
So I'll get to the final speeches where he's like saying what they're going to do.
All of Miles Johnson's bases dropped out.
Research in the field and through the characters has shown to me.
There's a thing where there's a great part where he talks about like he's gonna get like 1,000 martial artists.
And they know we know. And they're scared.
Yeah, they're scared.
And
They're
their
terrified.
only hope is to surrender ASAP.
They better surrender ASAP. It's been 9 fucking years.
I did point out and I can see.
Okay.
This commentator.
Oh, Queen Elizabeth II, that old bird.
That, you know, he's not native to the United States or Canada. You know,
ISIS is very upset. She wants her crown back. Meanwhile, they only knew how bad the PR move that would be, considering that what the name ISIS would become associated with in 8 years.
End of poverty and end of environmental struggle. In a future of wonder and awe and pleasure.
You could ask for anything more. Right. Oh man, I missed that. I want to get the videos. No, we have this alien for no reason.
But I point out the fact that
Foundation right now in Africa
you can take the thing.
forcing people in gunpoint, families at gunpoint, to sterilize their daughters with vaccines. These are the kind of people we don't want in power anymore.
Yeah, and I don't want my channel to get a strike because I had the audacity of sharing that guy. So look, Dark Sage 917 says I have an interesting question for you and your panel. Feel free to ask an interesting question, but ask it now because we're about to end the broadcast. I'll come back tomorrow, probably after the inauguration. It'll have to be late based on my schedule today. But we'll be here post inauguration to say hey and to wonder. I can't wait to see what's going on. Mr. Heuristic says I would bet money he found these guys on Craigslist through a community theater post. Wrapped some yarn around an umbrella, found the desk, the derby hat, and the yellow tablecloth in the closet, and voila. You know what I mean? Look, yeah, I mean it is. We'll see. Rooster Cyber says, "You mean after the arrest? Before the arrests, but after but after Joe Biden was turned away at the door."
I also point out that
Right.
I point out now that just because
Remember, folks, when Simon Park said it was going to happen, even if the inauguration takes place, you're going to see Joe Biden, Kamala Harris get inaugurated at a fake mainstream media CGI alternative reality game setup. Then when they go to the White House in their beat up cars, the beat up old cars that were donated to them by bankers and stars,
corporate culture,
he's going to be turned away at the White House gates. That is his statement, his prediction around what's going to happen. Here we go, Dark Sage 917. Let me guess, before I even click on it, we're going to say like BS or interesting stuff. Let's see what Dark Sage 917 says. I'm an independent serving on my town council in Massachusetts, the first independent ever elected to office. I don't think that's true. Well, I don't think that's true. Massachusetts has been around for hundreds of years. I am someone who has morals and principles, and I want to show people you can be honorable and treat this job with respect. What advice do you have for a young person like me just starting out in politics? Baby, you know my advice would be to someone just like you just starting off in politics? Don't ask C.W. Chanter for advice. My God, to the love of Jesus, do not ask me for advice. But Dark Sage,
in some way, shape, or form,
21. 9117. Interesting. Definitely follow me on Twitch for more updates and more stuff. Beat up old cars. They're jerky old beat up old cars given to them by bankers and stars. Because you know how bankers and stars love their beat up old cars, right? Meanwhile, the Simon Park can have an automobile. Automobile. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about the guy that took this over the stock. Listen, folks, I love you, but I really at this point I gotta book you. I love you. If no one told you that they love you today, someone just did that. Somebody slip and chant and make it that what you will. Okay? And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tomorrow. You and me, the other guy. At this point, we've been speculating that these guys are running out of time. And this spark is going past its prime. They're saying that we're about to see the real fireworks. Who's going to be right? Who's going to be wrong? Right? Unless divergent alternative timelines.
And I said, I'm fine.
Don't forget about those.
You know, a lot of
I love you,
these
folks. We'll see you soon.
voices like paranormal romance
Welcome,
audios.
everybody. It's great to see a big
I mean,
crowd
I
here.
don't know if it's some kind of computer
This is,
voice or a
we're
person.
excited today to welcome Jesse
But they're
Ventura
telling
to Authors
sexy
of Google in
stories
Santa
about
Monica.
things.
Jesse is a former Navy SEAL and professional wrestler,
Has been
and I
my
have to say I was
involvement
lucky enough
here.
to see him wrestle live
And I
back in
really
the day.
don't know that
A few
people
times.
give a shit, like I said,
And
about the real life.
I loved it, and I
characters that
especially
they
used to
do
love
show
watching
up
him as a commentator on
manipulate and
television
twist
because he was
around
always
and tell the
astute and
stories
funny.
up because they think they can
And
do it
he used to
better.
say he was the only
So,
commentator who told it like it
I'll
is.
take responsibility
And
for
I have to say, he's
myself.
still telling it like it
And
is
that's why
throughout his
nobody wants to
career.
watch.
He has
While
gone
they
on to
teach
become a
everybody
well-known
how to take
actor and
care of
TV
themselves.
personality, governor of Minnesota,
It's ridiculous.
visiting fellow at Harvard's
My dog's
Kennedy
gonna
School
do
of Government, and a best-selling author. His best-selling books include Don't Start the Revolution Without Me and American Conspiracies. He's the host and executive producer of the TV series Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura. And today he's going to be talking about his latest bestseller, 63 Documents the Government Doesn't Want You to Read. So please join me in welcoming Governor Jesse Ventura.
Okay, I'm back.
Thank you. Great to be here.
So I say,
First, I'd like to state, so you know.
what
a little
is
about
the
me.
Computer Misuse Act?
Well,
Sues
beyond
versus
the
roommates.
nice
That's the
introduction,
name of the video.
I'm a throwback.
Coronavirus. Biggie Boho,
I'm
aka Richard
computer
Remains
illiterate.
of Dun and Bradstreet Financial Connection.
Not a good thing for you.
Joe Panoski's voice
And I have
match.
never owned a cell
was in
phone
the
in my
video
life, nor will I
Where
ever.
we're driving
I've made it
in
a
the
life's
Jeep talking
mission.
just
I
casual.
think that if I survive maybe
Joe
another
Panoski,
25,
born in
20 years on this
1966.
planet, I can put it
Joe's
on my
dad
gravestone
is the
and I'll be the
criminal
only
involved
one
with
who will be able to
Monsanto.
do that.
Joe
I've already
Panoski
instructed my
tagging to
wife, if I go first, I want he never
dollar
own
tax
a
talk
cell
that's going
phone
on in government.
put on it
Because I'll
because,
tell you what,
and so I'm
Joe's
kind of
dad
a dinosaur, I guess,
is
but
A
I enjoy
business
it because,
financial expert. He could
I'll tell a
easily
funny
run
story
across
first.
Joe
I bought my dream
and
car
blame it on his son and knock
back
him
in
upside his head.
2003.
'Cause that's what he did
Twin
to him as a
turbo
kid.
X50
So
Porsche, 450
makes
horsepower,
sense.
6-speed. That is so fast today,
this
I've
is a
never
Cross the
flown it.
Universe soundtrack, not
That's how
from the
fast
movie.
it is. When you order a
CW's
car like
agenda
that,
is in his dreams.
you have to get a slot
His
number
steps
because
were
they're
not
made
approved
by
by
hand
his
in
audience.
Germany.
CW
And when you
is
get your
skeptical
slot
about
number,
me
you
because
have
it doesn't
to
involve
order
the
what you want.
darkest of art
And
wonders.
my car salesman,
That means
who
the
I
dark
previously
arts,
probably bought a
Satanism.
half a dozen cars from through the
He
years
takes
because my wife
satanic
and
Bible
I
that he
enjoy
put
Porsches
to
and she likes
his
Audis.
heart and his
And they're
teenage
basically
years.
under the same roof.
He claims we New
Probably
Age,
fifth or sixth
tag
car, and
tissue
my
salt name
salesman
New
Rob is
Age,
going through the list, and he didn't
homeopathy.
even ask. He just looked at
So
me and
they
said, "And
twist,
where
and
would
that's
you
why they
like your
say
cell
that
phone?"
I am NEWH,
And I
New
looked at him
Age.
and I said, "I don't want
And
a cell
you,
phone." You would have thought I was
AGE
ordering a
is the
car
name of
without
the brand of
tires.
homeopathy.
He gave
And
me a
now it's
look,
all being redone.
unbelievable. But then I said, "But you
Packaging,
see
I'm
that
sure, 'cause of
6
that
CD player,
New
the thing you
Age.
can stack 6
That
CDs
wasn't
in?"
the real name.
I
It
said,
was
"That I
Louis,
The
L-U-Y-T-I-E-S.
reason I don't want a cell phone in
And
my
I
car,
saw
my
her change
Porsche,
my
is because
habit, but I would have
first of
never
all,
known.
it's a manual transmission, 6-speed,
Money
which
via
requires
views.
you to use both feet and both
Vampiring my
hands
energetic currency.
at the same time. So therefore,
Podesta,
where's the cell
Pizzagate,
phone going to fit in?
ITCCS
And
fraud,
also because when
and
I
Kevin
drive
Annette.
that car,
Zen Garden.
it's the enjoyment of driving, not the
1
enjoyment
hour,
of
20
tapping on a
minutes into
phone.
the video,
When I
he
drive
gives
it, I want to
testimony
drive it.
concerning
And
Conscious
it's not
Consumer
California,
Network,
it's not LA. I
CCN,
can drive it and get it past
CNN,
40. Which I always laugh when I
Tag,
come out here and
Terry
see all the
Joyce, now
exotic
slandering
cars.
Angela
I mean, where the hell
Disney,
do they drive them?
Connector,
Get
Hampstead,
past
Ricky
40. You
Dearman,
can't get past 40,
satanic
but I got a
rituals
Ferrari.
involving children by their own parents.
Anyway, that aside.
Tag
To the
Z,
book.
Zach Goldcamp.
The last book I wrote was
To the
called
abuse
American
that he has
Conspiracies,
given
where
his
we went
children
down basically from
and
Abraham
blamed
Lincoln
it on
and moved forward and
other
took
people
and-
like
and talked about
grandparents.
conspiracies and wrote about the conspiracies
How about
from the
that?
conspiracy side, basically.
Cognosis Z,
Naturally, I took a
CCN,
great deal of heat
Mel
for it.
Katie,
It
MCW,
seems today
Friends
that
of
if you at all
Collusion
question
behind
your
scenes.
government's story, you're a conspiracy
International Horror
theorist,
Show,
which
Throw
means you
Mama
believe in
under the bus
anything, you're out in
story.
left field and all
And
this
that's what you
stuff.
see
and
going
green
on
men
now
are
on
coming from
YouTube.
Mars and
They're all throwing each
everything
other
like
under
that,
the
which I
bus.
think is highly unfair. So in light of that book, which was a bestseller, and by the way, I might add,
When it came to the issue of David Icke, I did have to reevaluate it.
spent 7 weeks on the New York Times top 10 best-selling list, and yet was not reviewed by one mainstream media in the United States of America, including the Times itself. And that it was on their list top 10 for 7 weeks. Why?
Criticized for not engaged.
Why, if not just to say the book's a piece of crap
who to associate
in the end? Why
with
was
the
it
hyperbole
ignored?
that led me directly into hypocrisy.
A book
But
like
that's
that. So
fine.
Dick Russell, my co-writer, and I,
look,
we decided,
the
well,
Nazis
let's take a different
saved by
approach with
Jesus.
this next book.
Tag
One could look
baby
at him and
Hitler.
say,
Let's do a book
post-conversion,
that
but
they
you're a
can't put
hypocrite.
any blame on us for theories
But there can
or
be
what I
fundamental
might think.
changes.
And so we chose, and this
So
was
obviously I
before
felt that my
WikiLeaks.
decision to
We started
appeal
this project a
was okay.
couple, 3
Though
months
I
before
did know
WikiLeaks even happened.
Mackenzie's got
And we said,
subscribers
let's do
now,
government
and that I
documents.
probably
That way,
would be
the
angry.
government documents speak for themselves and they're
Yes,
real.
you know,
They
some
exist. So
people
this
who
book has
came
nothing to do
aboard
with any type of
during the
theory,
whole
conspiracy theory.
Zen Gardner.
These are every document
Well,
that's in this book is reproduced. We wanted to do that. to where
So
I
I
just
pointed out
don't
the
tell
factual
you about the
accuracy that I
documents and give
never
you my
tried
opinion, which I do.
you know,
But the
big,
documents are
just a
all
big factual
reproduced
accuracy. I
in
didn't say,
full, so you
just
yourself
fucking
can
make a
read
factual
them and
accuracy. I
judge for
didn't say,
yourself
look, it's just,
what the
that's not
document
true.
says.
You go your way, you go my way.
And
It wasn't really a big deal to me.
we tried
I
to go
expected
basically
it,
through my
this happens
lifetime,
all
and
the
I will
time.
be 60
People
this
people
summer, so we go
disagree
back
all the
that
time.
far.
I'm
And
strong
we
opinions
progress
even more
forward
than
to
other
modern
people.
times.
So
We have
like
documents all
Jones,
the way along the way.
coming at
All
me
the
with,
documents are legal.
I'm an
We didn't
asshole.
break
But
any
you're
laws
obviously a
that
white
are out
worker coming
there.
around saying, oh, this guy's
We
engaged in
didn't
this, this,
break
the
anything
other thing.
top secret or that hadn't been
I'm
unclassified.
gonna,
They're all in the public domain.
They call them fast.
And I will tell you this, this book
Here's the
to
other
me
notion.
is
If you live
terrifying.
in a society
This
where
book
people
was
are
not
supposed to be
easy to
accepting
write.
and white workers and
I'm
this
a
and that,
6-year
what
Navy
is fat
veteran.
shaming on
I
CW
love my
channel,
country.
right?
I
First of
have a
all-
rare privilege.
first of
My
all-
brother is a Vietnam veteran. I am a Vietnam veteran. And I have
I
the
mean,
rare privilege
know.
that not too many people can say. My father was a World
I
War
can,
II veteran,
and
and so was
say,
my
when
mother.
I'm a big boy.
Not many people can say their mom
You think anyone ever
was a
pointed out
World
the
War
costume
II
of the guy
veteran.
that was
My
pushing the
father
camera?
had,
Okay.
I think, 6 or 7
You said the guy
bronze
was out
battle
in the
stars
back
in
of the
World War II
You
in
mess up saying
Ever
you
Europe.
mentioned,
And my mother was a nurse in North
team.
Africa during
You might
World
not
War
look at
II.
me and think I'm the dude.
And
But
not
that
too many
guy's
people
fat.
can say your mom
CW
is
Chambers got a
buried in
beard.
National Cemetery.
That guy's fat and a beard.
So
Whatever.
that's why the book was difficult,
To my
because this book
reply,
tried my patriotism and it stretched it to thin,
God,
to a
that's such a
strain.
shorter name.
Because as I went through these
I'm just
documents
gonna
and
go
looked at the
no,
behavior
nothing
of
to
my country,
man.
Oh, yeah, I think of
it was
names.
shocking.
Tag calling me a
Says,
boy.
you can
Things
nitpick
that
all
I've
you
been
like
involved in
CW
over the last
and
50
play with
years.
words. But it doesn't
In fact,
change
I
the fact that
got
a lot of people are
chastised for
disappointed
bringing up a
with your
word
actions
that I
in
find
using,
ironic
using
that you're not
C
supposed to
and
use.
Okay.
When you
Okay,
read this, what bothered me,
Isn't
and
that
I'll use it,
funny? We're in
I
that
tell it
kind
like
of
it is. But
twisted or demented. The two overweight people.
I believe in many
Namely,
instances in
C.W.
this book
Channer
you can
and Katie
substitute
Roby.
the word Nazi and it
Fat
works.
shame other people
There's
and
behavior
cry
in
that
this
people
book
are
that
fat
is
shaming them.
as
And
you'd
I've never
expect it
fat
from the
shamed either
Nazis.
one of them.
But
But
it isn't the
they're
Nazis,
both
it's us.
disgustingly
It's
obese.
our country
And
now. People
they're
say,
giving me trouble for being
you know,
average
documents
in
are secret.
size
What right to who's got
and
the
mocking
damn cell
everything
phone
about
shut
me. And
down?
that is gang
This is
stalking and harassment.
Consider this a green and a golf club. That's a hard
Well,
one
you
to
really
get
that
straight
desperate
corrected.
to have your ego massaged.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm not desperate to have my ego massage. Yeah, my ego massage is easy.
these documents are
I look in the
appalling,
mirror and
and
remind
our
myself who I
behavior
am.
has been
So I look myself
appalling
and say,
in reading these documents of the
You know?
things that my country has done.
I'm okay
And
with
yet,
me.
in
You know
most
what I mean?
cases,
I'm
no one
okay
has
with my
ever been
decision.
prosecuted.
But
No one has ever been
so, you know,
tried
getting
for
my
any
ego
of the
massage
stuff.
wasn't really about that without spreading the
And
gossip or
that
about
troubles
appearing on
me.
different venues.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
let me move forward quickly to
Oh, yeah.
WikiLeaks for a
I don't
moment.
care on Red Ice Rig. It was
I think
that
WikiLeaks is a hero
you know, wanted it.
because of the fact that
I'm proud to help you, man, from my website.
last year,
Look, that Wisconsin
in
called me.
1 year,
I'm proud of it.
our country declared
I let that motherfucker
top secret 16 million documents.
If the money's coming,
16 million documents that you and I are not allowed to see.
I might put on a Saturday
I have to figure that must be
you
just
know what I
about
mean?
everything we do.
I'm not here spreading messages. I'm not here trying to
Just
be
about.
cool.
Maybe I don't know how many documents
But
they
I'm told
have.
you this shit.
But I find it interesting that when I was in the military
I
as
said
a
this. So
Navy
the
SEAL, I had a
that
top
you're picking
secret
up on this.
security
I don't know,
clearance.
you know, what the problem.
And I've been a mayor and I've been a governor.
Pointing out a, this is me.
Now I'm
Pointing out a
not.
factual
I'm a citizen.
Pointing out a
At
factual
what point
inaccuracy
do I
is me.
lose my top secret
Pointing out a
security
factual
clearance?
inaccuracy and clarifying
How am I
that
any
it is not
different
playing with
today
words.
than I was before when it
I'm
comes
sorry
to
you feel
security?
disappointed in my decision
And yet,
to interview us.
because I
Yeah.
become a civilian,
But that's
a
right.
citizen, now I'm
I
not
don't want to
allowed to
discuss
know
this
things
verbally.
that I
I'm
could
sure
know
that
as a
can be alright.
governor,
But
that I
don't
could
go
know
all
as
the
a
time.
SEAL.
You know, real people have been around it.
And yet I'm the same person.
ITCCS brought
I guess being a civilian puts you at the bottom of the food chain or
you know
citizen.
that shit's went through
Enough
back and forth
knowledge.
before.
And I think it's wrong. Now, the thing that
You know,
you'll see
send
in the
an
book
email,
that I
find
dedicated
find
the book to
message.
Congressman
Come on
Ron
out.
Paul.
That's nice.
And I did that because he was the only person in our Congress when
That's right.
WikiLeaks happened
I'm sure that
that stepped out on the floor of Congress and gave what I thought were one of the greatest speeches I've heard
up in the debate and
when
know
he
that I
stated
still love
unequivocally that WikiLeaks has
everybody's
killed
an
no one.
individual. Everybody's in a relationship.
How many people have
I'm
been killed
still
from the
in a
lies,
relationship with Michael
false
Ramirez.
intelligence,
To
and
which
deception we
Michael
got
Ramirez will even
to
say,
put us into the
"You're
Iraq
fucking
war?
shit. I cut you off. I'm not contacting
Also,
you on
the fact that
Gmail, on Skype, on
I
Twitter, on
think what he
YouTube,
said that
whatever.
was
Fuck
extremely
you, double
important
checker.
was
You're not in a relationship." And I go, "No,
that
you hating on me, and me waiting for you to come
in a
on back
free
and forgive
country
me,
like
or me
ours,
forgive you, or you apologize to me, or me to
when
apologize to
telling
you."
the truth,
That's the nature and the status of the
people
relationship.
accuse you of being a traitor or treason. When the
Envy,
truth equals
hatred,
treason
love,
in a free
desire.
society,
These are all
and
words that
we're
simply describe things
when
in
telling
motion.
the truth means
Water
people
can be
accuse you
frozen,
of being a
it can be
traitor,
liquid, it can be
the truth
gaseous.
is what it is.
People
The truth
travel
is the
through
truth. When I ran for governor, I never
this shit
used
is
a prepared
complex.
speech
And the fact of the matter
for
is that you
anything
cannot draw these black
because I
and
ran
white
under the premise of
lines.
if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory.
This is right, this is wrong, this can't
That's
be
true.
this, buddy.
I always remember I was in my first
can't think of
debate
any particular reason
and
why
I
it was
sat
okay for
down
me to be
with
there.
like 7
And here's an
candidates
example,
then, and
there's something
a
right
black
there
woman
that
civilian
you
was
could
sitting
point
to my
down and
left,
say,
and
you know,
they
this
all
is that
walked
I
in and
thank
carrying books, spin papers, all this stuff.
CCN
They're all
for allowing me to be on.
I come in with
And
nothing.
I told them,
Sat down
I
at the
said
table.
there
This woman
that I thought them
got
having
one of
me
those legal pads, you know, with the yellow paper
was
pen, and
great.
she set it on
Never
the table and
interacted
she
with
slid it
me.
over to me.
So I did have an
And I
opportunity to
looked
speak
at
to
her
her
and I
husband, who's
slid
acting
it
as the
back, and
engineer
she
for the
said,
show,
"Don't
which
you
is
think
the
you'll need that?" And that's what I told her.
Biggie.
I said,
Biggie
"Man,
Bobo.
when you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory." And I'll
I
never
didn't
forget
say
the
that
smile
back.
she
Why would I say that to
gave.
him?
She nodded.
Because he would allow me to appear on this
You know,
platform,
but
despite
I'll
the
tell the
fact
truth.
that I
When I
previously
made the
said, "Oh
biggest
yeah, another
mistake
thing,
in the debate you could possibly
CCN
make
came today."
in a
And so
political debate, I was asked a question on TV in a debate,
I said
and I
that shit
simply said, "I don't know."
And so
There was like
I
this
show up
dead
at the party
pause
here,
of
it's
2
happening at
seconds,
your
and the crowd
place. The
erupted
previous to
into
the
cheering
party
and
here happening
applause.
at your place, right?
And then when it was
You
subsided,
knew
I
it
said,
found
"But
out
if
that I
it's
called you
important,
big such a
I'll
cock
learn."
motherfucker that you were
Well, I
10,000
think the
favors of
people
you,
appreciated
right?
honesty.
And
And
I
I
thought
think
you were
the people
trash.
appreciated
You put me
hearing
when
someone
they
running
lied.
for office
The
who didn't
decisions
claim
were,
to know everything.
erroneous and falsifiable.
And I
But
think
I
that
thought,
they realized at that point that truly honesty was more
you just
important
greet me at the door
to elect
with
somebody. Now,
a beer,
the state of our country
say,
today,
you know what,
we're
bro?
a mess. And who is to blame?
Come on.
The Democrats and the Republicans. They have been in charge for
We're
my
here to
entire
control.
life.
We're going to talk shit.
I am an independent, dyed-in-the-wool, true truth. I despise them both equally,
Right?
not one over the other. I dislike both. I'm an equal opportunity
Throw your shit
despiser
to the twist, and
of both our political parties. I
Come on
agree
in.
with what
I'm
Ralph
gonna
Nader
say,
said. We are a
after that
two-party
beer,
dictatorship
this
in
guy,
this country. Now, how can we break it? How can we take our
this
country
guy,
back?
this guy.
See, I not only talk about things, sometimes I give solutions. How can we take our country back?
I am trying to spread a message.
I believe it's as simple as the nose on your face, if I can use that cliche or another one, but unfortunately we can't see the forest for the trees. How can we do it? Simple. Stop voting for Democrats and Republicans. Remember, voting's not a horse race. You're not there to pick a winner. You're there to vote your heart and conscience for the candidate you believe fits your values the most and who you believe in. And if you do that, you have voted correctly. You have not wasted your vote. Wasting your vote is trying to pick a winner. We all like to be winners, so we can all brag and say, "Yeah, I voted for this candidate and he won or she won." But to me, that's not
that I did think of you
civil
Mackenzie's devil when I made my
duty.
decision to do this.
It's voting your heart and conscience. And
One more
then
question.
a way we can start,
Clarify this too.
a way we can
One more
immediately
question.
start
Could
to
my
take our
appearance
country
be
back.
seen as an invasion
How about
of
this?
CCN? How about
I'll
the
back up a
CCN
second.
viewers who might come
I no
over
longer
here
believe
and
in
learn
the
something
third party
constructive?
movement.
Now that wasn't my agenda. I wasn't there to invade.
And I'll tell you why. The Democrats and Republicans have corrupted the system so badly that any third party in which to survive will have to correct itself. Well, you've already got a two-headed monster. Why would you want a three-headed one? I now advocate the abolishment of all political parties in the United States of America. Turn them into political action committees, which is what they are anyway. Certainly they can endorse, but end it there. And on every ballot in the United States of America, here's a simple thing we could do. Remove the party designation and put down only the name. It's too simple. The system's set up for it. If you're conservative, you don't need to know anybody's name. You look for the party. Republican. If you're liberal, you don't need to know a name. Democrat. By only putting down the name would then require you as a voter to educate yourself. What does John Smith stand for? Because you wouldn't have that crutch in there that would tell you conservative or Democrat. And then there's one, and you in California can get away with this stuff because you got that nonsense where you can put everything on the ballot. The next thing would be simply this. How about on every state, local, and national ballot, we offer the final choice at the bottom that you can vote for none of the above.
I'm not asking you to
Now
explain
people
yourself
laugh
to
at
the
that,
rational
but
way.
what that truly is a vote of no confidence in
That's not how
government.
it works, Carl.
That could do
I'm not asking you to
volumes
justify your
huge.
actions.
Because imagine for a moment, let's say I'm a Democrat and I defeated my Republican opponent for Congress, but I lost none of the above.
I get it.
More
You know what I
people
mean?
cast their vote for none of the above than what I got.
You say the least
Wouldn't
appearance
that
on-
make
on
them
my
go
show.
out there
It's
with
not
a
a
change of
passive
attitude?
of everything
You lost
that
to
I
nobody.
said.
Yes, you're the congressman or the congresswoman, but you lost to none of the above. And I'm willing to bet right
Randy
now
Logan is the
there
same
are elections in
comment
this
on
country
video
where
as
none
well.
of the above
It's not
will
a
prevail.
personal endorsement by Randy Logan.
And
so
that's
I put on the
what's
shit.
wrong with that. A vote of no confidence that would send a huge message, huge, to every elected official. Imagine these
But
ideas coming
if you
from the
did it to
Congress.
attract fans of Mel Day, to
I
come and
didn't
look
go
at
to
you, that's
college.
fine.
I didn't.
Okay.
I'm not a political
Then I guess
science
it's
major,
fine.
and I'm certainly not a lawyer.
You made that decision.
Imagine that. All
Does it
these
look like a
ideas
huge
this
appearance
pro
on
wrestler comes
CCN
up
and
with.
Gladwin to Mel Day and
You know?
taking that
But
as an
anyway, those
invasion?
are a few of the things. And as you
No.
look into this book,
But here's the
and
question.
then we'll open up
Take
here for
shit.
questions in a minute because that's usually the
If
best
you-
way. I don't want to just lecture.
You made that,
I'd like
does
to
it look
answer
like a
questions
huge
of
appearance on CCN and
what's on your
Gladwin
mind.
to Mel Day?
And, but as you look through this book,
as
I
an
hope it does
invasion?
frighten you.
remember-
I hope that it's a wake-up call. I hope that you will begin engaged
And it's really what you're
citizens.
speaking
Stop
about. I've
being
never
lemmings.
spoken to Mel Day.
Because right
So
now
I
we're a
got
country
serious
full of
questions
lemmings.
about whether
We
this
get
is a
marched right
language
off the
barrier,
cliff and we
or
don't
whether you
even look
watch my,
left or
if
right.
you even
Why?
watch my appearance with
It's the
Zane,
dumbing
or
down
maybe
of
just
America
someone
because
said
of our
to you,
media.
you gotta check out the first 5
Our
seconds.
media.
See what
Our media
Texas
was
is
supposed
now
to be
fucking acts.
the fourth branch of government. They were supposed to be the watchdog of the other three to report back to us. Well, they're not anymore. They're in bed with the government. They're the government's mouthpiece now. They're no longer a watchdog. Cases in point. What's the top story this last 3-4 weeks? Charlie Sheen. You can't turn the news on now without hearing a report on Charlie Sheen. Now, Charlie, he's got some problems. I feel bad for him. But he hardly deserves to make a mention at the end of the news, not a lead story. And what was it a year and a half ago? The main story, the death of Anna Nicole Smith. I almost threw up. Every day they're doing mobile, sending out mobile reporters outside the hotel. Well, we're down here in wherever she was, the Bahamas or whatever the hell it happened. And we're in front of the hotel where Anna Nicole Smith died. Hey, I was alive in '63 when John Kennedy was assassinated. Anna Nicole Smith got way more press in the end than the assassination of our president. Because hers went on and still got legs. I just saw it the other day. Some judge made a ruling to give her house to her boyfriend or something. That's newsworthy. It's like when I was supposed to have a television show on MSNBC, but that's a whole nother matter. They tried to tell me what I was supposed to cover every day. And at the time, you'll recall, remember the murder you had where the guy killed his wife out in the boat or whatever it was a couple of years ago? Pardon me? Peters, yeah, that murder. Well, they were shoving that down my throat every day to cover that. And I go, wait a minute. There's 10,000 murders a year. Now, that was a tragic murder, but there are 10,000 murders a year, every year. How is this one so important? Now, it might be important to all you Californians because you live here. It's close to you. But go back to Minnesota with me. We have our own murders. Why do you need to know about yours? And yet every night, day in and day out, that is the dumbing down of America by our news media. And we're at fault because we accept it, because we like this titillating journalism. And you know what the downfall was to our news? The show 60 Minutes. Now listen, hear me out. 60 Minutes, a marvelous show. But here's where it was the downfall. Up until that point in time, pre-60 Minutes, the news departments lost money. So they would make it up in the entertainment division because they felt, well, we'll lose money, but it's our job to inform. Right? Along comes 60 Minutes. And behold, it goes to #1 in the ratings. The bean counter's upstairs, the light goes off. You mean we can make money with the news? There was your downfall, because from that point on, the news became about making money, not informing you. It became ratings rather than information to smarten you up. Now you have, and here's the dangerous part, because of that, you now have the news going into creating news, not into reporting it. And that's very, very dangerous in my opinion. Very dangerous. So it's up to us to be vigilant citizens. Tom Jefferson said dissension is the greatest form of patriotism, and I believe that, and I endorse that completely. There's nothing wrong with dissenting. There's nothing wrong with holding elected officials' feet to the fire. If you don't, you will get bad government. So I hope you'll read this book. I hope that you digest the documents that are in it. I hope you're shocked as I am about what some of the documents are, and if there's any in particular that you see and would like to ask me about as you look into the book, feel free to do so. I won't go into them now because, you know, reading is supposed to be pleasure and it's supposed to be you doing it. So I'm not going to, unless you ask me specifically, I'm not going to go into the things that are in the book. But I will do this. I opened and closed the book more or less with 2 quotations. The first quotation comes from my particular favorite president, my whole life, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. And here's what President Kennedy said to us: there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is a very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Right? Then I like to finish off also, just to show it runs through our entire country's history. I'll quote Patrick Henry. Most of us remember Patrick Henry as saying, "Give me liberty or give me death." That was a great quote. You know, brave quote. But he also said this, Patrick Henry quote, "The liberties of a people never were, nor ever will be, secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them." And I think that, you know, those are 2 real great Americans. And the words they speak are, in my opinion, very true. So on that note, I'd like to say thank you, Google, for having me here. Lunch was terrific. It's kind of a remarkable company here that feeds. Geez, you're like the Navy. You know, they used to feed me, 3 hots and a cot all the time. And no, actually, I will tell you this. I was at the Naval Amphibious out of California, and we won Best Chow Hall for like 11 years in a row in the 11th Naval District. Every Thursday, we would have steak and lobster in the Navy. And I was on what they call comrades, because commuter ration type thing, because our jobs take us away from the base so often as a SEAL that they pay you money. And so you have to eat at the chow hall when you're there. And because, but it was, I think lunch was 65 cents and you get steak and lobster. So that's not a bad price. You know, of course, then again, let's remember this was way back in the early 70s when the economy was much different, but so was my salary. Because when I joined the Navy initially, I made $122 a month, $61 a paycheck. And I'd blow it that first weekend and then be stuck on the base the rest of the time because, you know, I wasn't very economically sound. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me to be here. And now I'll open up for questions.
Well, just I'm not defining chronological ethics and morality. There are plenty of people that are going to listen to this other commentator's perspective and say, no, he's got to write a script judgment. He's engaged in rationalization, justification. He's a hypocrite.
You know, I'll tell you, excuse me, that's a first. No,
Other
other
than
than the hand
basically
finding,
thinking
I've
for those
never done a
arguments
speech
and
where everybody flows.
you have to question. So I'm
Go
grateful
ahead,
for
sir.
those guys.
This is kind of a two-part question. First is,
Okay, but give it to me one part at a time. I've been on the road for 2 weeks. I'm going on about 4 hours a night every night. I'm dog tired. So slow and easy.
sure, what was your motivation to run for governor back when you did?
Again,
And then the second
just
part
gonna
is,
tell me that he's gonna do what he wants to do.
being a governor of the state,
That's
what
cool.
was the one thing you walked away with that you learned the most about how our government
It is what it
works?
is.
Okay, my motivation, I'll give you my fun motivation. This is the joke. There's a gentleman in Minnesota by the name, a great businessman by the name of Wheelock Whitney. And when I first won governor, I was speaking to a businessman.
Is it interesting?
And they asked me the same question, what motivated you to become governor? And I looked right at Wheelock Whitney and I said, well, I was a mayor and it didn't work. And so I figure if I get to be governor, it will work. Well, Wheelock Whitney happens to be a member of Augusta National, where they play the Masters. And I said, I figured if I won governor, Wheelock Whitney would then take me to Augusta and let me play Augusta, Georgia, which is the heaven of professional golf. And then I looked at Wheelock and said, Wheelock, don't force me to have to become president. And he was a man, he burst out laughing and he said, you're going to Augusta. And sure enough, he was good enough to take me there. And I got to play Augusta National for a golfer. That's the same, I think, as going to you know. Now on a serious note, what inspired me to become governor was something really interesting. Let's move back, if we may, to 1998, when our economies were robust. Remember that? Interest was nothing. Everybody was making huge money. Well, the state of Minnesota was in such fiscal shape then, they were getting budget surpluses. In other words, they did their budget, but because the economy was so robust, they were bringing in more than what they budgeted for. Well, the one year, guess what they did? They spent it. They thought they were kids in a candy store. They thought, whoa, we brought in more money than what we budgeted for. That means we can go buy extra stuff. Well, I was outraged. I was doing talk radio, and I said, wait a minute. If they brought in more than what their budget needed, then that money should be returned to the taxpayers. So I basically ran on that. I said, you know, I was doing talk radio and I was so angry. I said, maybe I should run for governor. Then you box yourself in the corner. And of course, on talk radio, if you lose your credibility, you're nothing. And so I kind of forced myself. I had to run. And I can honestly say pre 9/11, we had 3 more robust economy years. And I gave back tax rebates to every citizen of Minnesota. They named them Jesse checks. And I did it even over the, you'd think the Republicans would have gone with me all the way, but they wanted it to be an income tax rebate. Well, an income tax rebate means you got to declare it, which means then it's part of your income, which means the federal government's going to take a third of it. And I thought, this isn't the Fed's money, it's ours. So I did it and was successful in a sales tax rebate because you can't deduct the sales tax. So therefore, they can't take the money. So when you got your check, you can spend it. Now there is a true stimulus package, not the bullshit you're getting today. The stimulus package, if you want to send the money to the people will spend it. That will spur the economy. Like I met an old woman, elderly woman, and she came up to me and she told me, Governor, She said, "Thank you for that Jesse check." I said, "You're welcome, ma'am." She said, "You know what I did with it?" I said, "What?" She said, "I needed a new lawnmower." And I went down and bought it, and I named my lawnmower Jesse. And I was very flattered over that. You know, this elderly woman who wanted a new, powered lawnmower for her backyard. Because, contrary to LA, we in Minnesota do have backyards.
Sometimes
They have grass and trees too.
Go
I
home.
got a gig in California occasionally, So that was what really inspired me to run, was that budget to where they didn't give back the surplus of money to the people who had our money, and they were spending it like kids in a candy store. So, next question. Right here.
So I've got my dreams.
Actually, we'll go closer to the mic. I'll get to everyone, but we'll try to
make
keep
various
close to the mic.
videos
Yes,
about
ma'am.
various
Have you ever considered running for presidential election?
President, I've considered it. I've thought about
Not
it.
so I can be in Wisconsin.
And I'll be very honest,
Not
as
so
an
I can,
independent, the cards are against you
get lots
because
of action. Not so I can get lots of
you
money.
think it was a universal thing. If you're running for president, every state to qualify should be the same.
I'm
Correct?
not in
But
control.
it's not. They do that on purpose. Every state you have to jump through different hoops to get
I
ballot
have to be
access.
authentic to myself.
And when you try to get it, the Democrats and Republicans will bring lawsuits then to tie you up in court, so that by the time you get through with court, the election has already passed you by. That's the system they've created to keep anyone else out of the game. It's like playing a football game, and they get to be the referees, and they can also change the rules at halftime. That's what you're up against.
Okay, so I got it. I want to
Right in. Well, other than that fiasco, unbelievable Alaska where it worked, I have never ever seen a write-in candidate ever win. Alaska did give me a slight rail because it happened up there, but let's remember, those are Alaskans, and there's not exactly as many of them as there are Californians or the rest of the country. Smaller numbers, you'd have a better chance. The bigger numbers you're dealing with, the more difficult it would be. Now, saying that though, the libertarians,
it feels
which
good
I
at
am
the end of the
kind
day
of,
to know that I've
refer
arrived at a
myself
point
as
where I feel like I
libertarian,
have a
small
solid
L,
grasp
not
on
capital,
what
because
mine,
the true
philosophy,
libertarian
and
believes
faith
there should be no
and
government.
having
That's an
discovered
anarchist.
that it
I
could be
understand that there should be
translatable
at
or
least
usable to
some
other people.
government.
I said, I'll throw
Government
it
does
out
have
there.
a role. The other part of that question of will I run is this: being president's an oxymoron.
That I do.
What I mean by that is that you stand for freedom, but you yourself have none.
Bullshit.
When you hold those
When I
jobs,
see
you
a
give up
subject
your
matter
freedom.
that I know is
It's
gonna
gone.
hit, I go
And
for
I
it.
like my freedom. I like living in Mexico now because down
When I
there
see
it's just a
something's
big
hot
bingo.
or I got a new angle on it, I
Nobody
go
pays,
for it.
other than being a big guy, they'll look at me, but they don't know who I am.
I know that if I make a
enjoy
video
that
just
right
me
now after
talking
the
about
year.
whatever, it
So
gets
it would
200
require
some
me
odd views, and
to have to
I'm
go,
happy
as I
about that
like to
because
refer
that's
to it, it
beautiful.
would require
And if
me
I do
to
a
want to
video
go
on
back to
Floyd,
jail.
it's gonna, or
I'm
Donald
not saying I
Marshall,
won't do it,
that shit's
and
gonna
I'll tell you something
bigger
else
numbers.
honestly. Before I put my butt on the line, this country better show me it's worth it. You better show me it's
But the
worth
whole
it
point
this
is in
time.
every move. Maybe you
I've
get
already
numbers.
done 4 years as a mayor, 4 years as a governor, and 6 years in the Navy.
Yes,
That's 14 years of my life I've given
another
to the
guy's on
public.
the scene.
And to do that job, I need to know it's
I know
worth
that I'm
it.
that chick.
And right now, the people of this country
I know people
are
know
not
who
showing
I
me
am.
that. They're starting to. I like the protests in Wisconsin, and I like how
I know
things are
Alpha
stirring up.
knows who
But in
I
order for
am.
me to win, we got to think revolutionary. In order for me to win,
I know
you
Cash
got to be ready
Randy
to elect
Markets,
Jay
J
Lawrence,
Essex, Bill Ryan.
because I will change things if I won. What would I do? I'll tell you what I would do. First thing I would
Not that
do,
these people
I would
matter
cut
more than
defense
any other
spending,
person
which is
on
something
planet Earth, but just no one
I don't know
understands
if
it.
you can win off that because they use
I'm
fear
happy
on you.
to do
Like,
that
oh, if you cut
because,
defense
God damn it,
spending,
I
we're
thought
all
about it.
going to get killed.
And my
We're
agenda is
all
not
gonna
to
be-
lie to you and be deceptive
Well,
to you
I
and
would
say,
close
well,
every base we have
we
throughout
go
the
free,
world, and I
understand
would bring
the
our
right
young
sense
men and women home and back to our own
happiness
country, and we
influence.
would defend
Not
our country
because
from
it'll
here.
increase any
We
happiness
wouldn't
to
be
me.
colonizing
Well,
anymore or
I'm
creating
doing
this
because
empire.
I want to give
We're
you
following the
this
Roman
group
Empire
because I'm
right
such
now.
hot shit.
So that's what, and that would cut spending. If you're truly going to
No.
balance the budget,
You're
you
not
can't do it without
but you're
cutting
hot
defense
shit.
spending.
I'm
Because
here to
that's
tell
the
you,
biggest thing
hey,
out
by
there.
the way, a lot
And
of
we don't,
people
how many
that live
times
in
can we blow up the
Wisconsin
world?
think this crap.
Oh.
We've got
Those are-
technology. You
those are
have Google
points,
here.
those are the
We got technology now and the weapons we don't need. Why do we have 50,000 troops in Germany, 50,000 troops in Korea, 50,000 troops in Japan? Seems to me those wars were over 50 years ago. Why do we still have troops there? So, you know, those are a few of the things I would do. You call me radical, I guess.
Oh, girl. Oh,
Because
girl.
I would not be doing what mainstream
Melody
does. I'm so disappointed in
to
Barack Obama.
create
I really
a
thought he was
plug-in
a dynamic
algorithm
speaker,
program
but I really
format.
thought there's no
What
change. I
journalism
can't tell the
academy
difference
was
between him and
supposed to
Bush,
be.
just that he can
But
read
it
a
never
teleprompter.
was. So that's interesting
know,
too.
But other than
Now,
that,
real quick,
I don't see any
I want to
change.
read my comments
And
again.
so also it's
Since I
difficult.
don't
He's an
expect
incumbent and
that
as
I
an
will see them
independent.
again.
That's tough.
Kinda
You're
like
better
when
off
I'm
when the
on these
incumbent
chats.
leaves and when the election's over,
And I
which would be
cannot get to my
2016.
camera because they're
And by
using it.
then, I'll be that
So
much
I
older.
have
And
to
I don't know
restart
if I
the
would have the
program
energy
on
at
the
that point
computer
to do the job.
and
It's
get the
hard to
prompt.
beat an
The
incumbent.
disk isn't inserted.
Very hard.
And
When I
then
ran
the
for
whole
governor, it
thing's
was
going to
because there
shut
was
down.
no
It's all
incumbent
everything they
governor,
put in here.
which opened it up for me to do that.
Every
So,
trick
next question.
to try to corrupt an Apple computer, which is supposedly uncorruptible with a FIDO.
And you can go on any topic. I'm not.
All right.
I've also got two questions, and I'll just give them both to you at once because I'm pretty sure you
Just get it.
remember the first one.
All right.
First one is, what color is your Porsche? And
Okay.
The second one is, so you've got
So
63
the last
documents.
comment that I said,
I'm sure there were many more. Do you have any
you know,
examples
back
of
in
what other
this
documents you would have
witness,
liked to
and
have
now
included?
it's 2:30.
Not really. It was tough enough doing the 63. We chose 63 because
we'll
that was
take
the
it
year
from the
John
top.
Kennedy was assassinated and murdered.
The
So we
last
thought
thing was
that was a
throw
good
mama under the bus story.
I don't want to go into any. These are enough. Digest
Who to
them.
save in a
And
burning
what color
building?
is my
Maybe
Porsche? It's
Hitler
like
or Mona Lisa
I don't
image.
lapis blue
He
metallic,
ran with that for
which is
about
that
6
I had to
months.
think a minute because they got those names for the color,
13201
which is a very
CCN
deep dark
into
blue.
person.
And then
That's
I got the
Chandler's
beige
conversation.
interior with it, and I
He
got
is
the
a
most
walrus
wood
tagged
that you could get.
size. Now we're
And,
talking
on
about
the
the
interior,
song.
and that was
The
sick,
chatter
really. I
complaining
wasn't going to
about
get it
fat
at first
shame.
till I came home and I told my wife.
Red
She
Ice
looked at me and said,
Radio.
"This is your dream
Michael
car." She goes,
Cesare.
"Don't hold back. Get
Where's he
everything
now?
on it you
The one
want."
time he ran
Well,
for
the
hours.
wood alone, because
Very
it's all
angry,
hand-carved,
very
runs across the
militant,
top, around all the speakers. The wood alone is
Yes,
10
original
grand.
title from
And I thought
chapters
that's
about
obscene.
is
In reality
regarding
of
my
the world.
appearance on
That's
CCN
pretty
Museum.
bizarre, but you know,
That
what the
is
hell,
the
money's
title
made to spend.
that
And also
Chandler
remember this
himself
on that note.
chose
The
back
economy, when all you hear about is cut spending,
I'm
cut
Michael
spending, cut
Arrows,
spending,
who
I got
is
news for you
the one
people.
who actually
If
called
we
me
don't
crazy
spend,
along
there
with
is no
Chandler on
economy.
his show.
The economy is
Spirituality
based upon
Politics,
spending.
late September 2016.
Spending creates
I'm
jobs.
Arrows,
You have
the
to buy
psychic
things.
vampire
You have to have money moving.
who acts like
If
he
we all
is
cut
very
everything,
angry
now
and is some
don't
kind
get
of
me wrong,
a
there are
alpha male.
government does and is in places
He
it
also
shouldn't be.
winds up being the voice
But
snatch
think
to
of
David
that when you get
Wilcock.
brainwashed on
And now you
cut
see how
spending.
Chandler
The
Wilcock
economy
and
is
good come
based
into
upon
play.
spending.
And this whole
That's what makes it
sphere
work.
being
You
alliance,
buy
which
things. The money,
real
that's what creates
name
jobs.
for the
Spending
SBA
creates
is the Small
jobs.
Business
Why do you think
Administration,
they always
which
renew
is
unemployment? That's because unemployment, if you're on
dirty and
unemployment,
vile,
you
to say
spend every cent of it.
least.
That
Over
spurs
my
the
career,
economy
I've caught him several
and starts to
times,
create
harassing
jobs, so
me.
then you're
So
not
here
on
again,
unemployment anymore.
if you don't think
Think
these
of
people
it.
aren't strong enough
How other way can there be jobs if there's
to
not
be a
money
bad
being spent?
government, then
And besides,
really
you can't
shows you
take
how
it
much
with you, people.
lack
What
of
I always say,
insight or education
you know, you come into the
has
world
on this
naked, you
political
leave with it
process.
naked. You can't take a
Because
dollar with you.
CCN is
Spend the damn
international.
stuff. Enjoy it.
So
You
now
work
you wanna
hard
know
for it.
why
That's the
this
fruits of your
international
labor. But then,
community
you
of
know,
terrorists
make
is
sure that
infiltrated
your
America.
kids and things like that are
Here it
taken
is.
care of.
And it goes
But
back
buy
before
stuff.
2010
What the hell? You can't
and
do nothing
somewhere
with that
after
paper.
2004.
Substitute it in the bathroom, maybe. But other
Praise
than that,
worthy
you spend it.
is what
That's
Chandler
what spurs
says
the
about
economy.
CCN.
Next question.
And he talked to Biggie,
So what do you
and
think that the
Biggie is
government
the
should do?
engineer.
What are the important things that the
Engineers,
government does?
like we found
So
out,
what should they do?
are allowed to remove phones.
Well, I'll put it to you this way.
protected
Well, let's go to
parts
healthcare
forced
for a
allegedly.
minute.
My
That's always a
house is
cantankerous. Now they've
on the
labeled it
historical
Obamacare.
register of
To me,
parts.
it's a human right.
So
If
I
you're
get
sick,
that
you should
point
be
now.
able to go to the doctor. If we weren't spending all our
Next,
money on
too
these
many
wars,
hits.
we'd have more money.
Oh,
We
too
could have
many
healthcare
hitmen
3
and
times
women.
over. You don't
These
hear a
are
word
very
about about that. It's fine to spend money to kill people.
spies,
But the
really
healthcare, oh
guilty
my
of
goodness. And for these hypocrites in
friggin'
Washington,
lawyers, alcoholic drug
now I'm
addicts,
talking to
and puppets.
Republicans who
Now you
are
know
blaming Obama,
they want
Obamacare.
to act
Oh,
like
we're going to
not
repeal
only
it.
have I been through an
Well,
inquisition,
why don't they start
everybody
repealing it
uses my dad.
by giving up
And acts
their
on my behalf.
government-run
Do they
health
want to call
care?
me a witch?
The Senate
or
and the
guilty
Congress
of
has
espionage?
government-run health
That's the
care.
last thing. Now,
It's
here again,
provided
look at
by
your
the government for them.
crap in the politics
They want
of
you
last
not to have
couple
it
years.
while they go to the bank with it.
Oh,
You don't
Russia
see any of them
server,
saying, you know,
Ukraine server.
I'm a stand-up type
who
person.
Who
I'm
interfered
going to
with
give
our
up
political
my health care,
process?
being a
The damn
congressman
internet
and senator for me and my family
Right.
to set an example. Do you hear that?
CCN is a
Anybody
big
know of one of them
platform.
doing that?
You want to interview?
Then what are they? They're hypocrites.
Hashtag
Because
who?
they're telling you, and then I'll flip it a
Capital
little farther.
letters. Be right
If
back.
government-run health care is so terrible, then are we screwing over the military again? Because the military's had government-run health care since World War I. So I guess we're sticking it to the military again, giving them a substandard thing. But all I know is my dad would go nowhere else. I couldn't get him to a civilian place. He went to the vets hospital and there was no changing at all. And I will say in Minnesota, not all the vets hospitals are good. But in Minnesota, they have an outstanding veterans hospital. And you couldn't get my dad to go. He'd ride
We're
the bus
talking
all
about
day long
attacking
just to go
somebody in
there.
the middle of the day
You know,
through
and,
crappy
this and that.
cell
So,
phone warfare.
and what other thing? Well, infrastructure. Those are things the government should be paying for so that
Yes,
we can do our
CCN,
commerce,
CNN,
fix our
big
roads and
platform. You
bridges.
want to interview
Let's
too?
do something constructive
Health
instead of
Organization?
destructive.
Tag it.
Wars are destructive.
Mackenzie's
Let's get out of the wars
Mocking
and put our
Joe's
money to
daughter,
work
Kenzie,
for us,
perhaps
building up
by
and
guilt
making our
in
country
a
what it
made-up
ought to be.
script with a Joe Panoski
And those are just a couple
And
that
his father.
hopefully helped a little bit. You get
and
where I'm
me
coming
and the
from.
Gold Camps and the
You know.
Pratts and the Orlandos. And this is your reality
I don't know
TV.
what my hold on, let me check my
Horse
schedule so I can make sure that.
And
Oh no, no.
it's treasonous what y'all have done
I like to answer all questions.
to myself and my family while y'all cry about what's done to your family.
Okay, my pickup was
Inversion all the
gotta
way.
go to Fox Sports, which is
They
over in
started it.
Pico.
All
I
right.
thought, how many minutes? In
Think
South
of
Asian
the
place
ICE
in
word,
Dallas,
capital ICE, used with
How long?
Antifa.
20 minutes?
I mean, which
Okay,
here
then I
again is
should
all
put down
bullshit, and I
till
exposed that
probably
months ago. I don't even know what the stupid word means.
2:50,
And then you
what
want
time
to
is it now?
attach people to it. Forget
Okay, good.
that.
Yeah, well, we got
That's
another
not
20 minutes then
governance.
easy. Unless
And
she's trying to get us
Broseph
out of
instead
here.
of Joseph. That's why they call him
Oh,
Bro.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Bros
Okay,
of
I forgot about
bra.
that. So we'll take a couple more
Whatever.
questions.
Next,
Still staying
CW
on
has
the same
always
theme of,
attached himself to all the big
government
players
what
online.
to do. Your
He calls it
Henry
Putin
quotes
swatting
kind
up.
of openness.
Randy Moggins connects
have a
to
hope
Hillary
for
Clinton's
government.
emails.
Well, I would hope, certainly I
And
understand that
supposedly somewhere
certain things
online,
have to become secret for the
that's all
time.
been made public.
You know,
I
as a
don't
Navy
know
SEAL,
where. I
I
don't
don't
care
want them,
where.
you know,
If
opening up
this
and seeing what
internet
operation I'm
technology and all
going
these
on, like, you know,
agencies
their enemy
haven't
is set
already
up
figured
and
this
yeah.
out, it
But
isn't
when the
just
op's
me.
over and maybe a
It's in
year's
jeopardy.
gone
It's every one
by,
of you idiots.
bring it all above board.
Because
You
nobody's
know,
gonna
let's
ever
get
believe
a
you.
little time element on.
At
You know,
least
they can
I have
figure out a
told the
way to
truth.
make things time sensitive.
And
Where,
that's why
and
everybody
if
hates
they're
me.
not doing anything illegal, dirty, murder, or that, why would
Now,
they fear?
an invasion
Bring
from
it
across
above
the
board
body of
to us
water
so that we
tagged
can
the
know.
computer
We have a
systems.
right to know. We pay taxes. Yes,
Because
right.
Channer said it was
What's that?
an
Outside of
invasion
defense
and he brought up Mel.
Oh, then they should
He
bring
never talked
everything
to her.
forward. Why would
Even
you
though
cover
I'm
up
speaking
anything?
to Mel B twice now.
I don't
Who is kissing
understand
his
why you have to
posterior
cover up anything.
butthole.
If everything you're doing
Let's
is
call it
and you
state.
believe in it, it's good. There's no
Starfish
reason
shaped
to keep it
Tag.
secret. In fact, if it's
This
successful,
crappy
you want it out there. You
Pizza
brag
gate.
them.
And then connected
You know?
it to pedophilia
So
and then
to
called it
me,
pedogate.
you know, only
And then go
marginal
back
things
to
there would be that you would keep
The whole
secret.
Nixon thing.
Everything else should, because we have a right to know.
Watergate
It's
and
all done with our tax
The
dollars.
invasion.
You have
from
every right
across
to
the
know
body
what
of
you're spend
water.
on. And that way you can be
Now,
a good voter and know that the people you're
tag the
elected
Czech
disagree, you can
Republic.
remove them.
Connect to the IP address in
Next
California.
question.
And I spelled Czechoslovakian CHECK to say Czech
So I
Republic
also
of California.
on this chain.
He says no,
And
looks fine.
what I think we're
Katie
witnessing now
assumes
is
my identity.
this walk
CW is
by
instructed to never use my legal name, so he doesn't.
and you brought up the
Plausible deniability
wild
believes.
idea of giving the two parties. I can't see that, how that could even be possible.
Tag C to the pipeline and indigenous flight
And something
2016.
that's necessary. I don't know.
Beginning of the small battles everyone forgot.
Change.
And that was called
And then
Standing
saw
Rock.
completely stymied by that
Let
ability.
me type that in
Our
because of the
forefathers
time.
created the country with the concept of the right to bear arms.
I
is
couldn't
actually the
remember
right
it,
to
even though
if the government becomes corrupt.
I actually did
So,
benefits to
we have a
try
right to stand up
I
and
don't
say
need
no.
anything to do with
That's
money.
right.
I
But
mean, benefit
how can you
videos
see us get through this?
where I
two-party
was
system?
covering Standing
Able to
Rock.
make
It was a
the difference
series.
without the same thing happening.
Let me
And
tell
then,
you,
of
I
course,
disagree.
if
I don't think it's
make
the
it all
parties
up
that are stopping Obama.
do that staged event.
Always
with those
remember, he
people
who has
on
the money
land
calls
and
the
all
shots. The
crap.
U.S. government
You can
has
see a
no
whole
money.
other side.
Where do they get their money? The Federal Reserve,
Now, Janet
which is a
brings up
small little group of bankers. in the
$5
private
million
sector.
to charity.
You know what I think they did to Barack Obama?
DWI
I think he
conviction,
got in office and they showed him the Zabuna film.
sobriety,
And they said, see what you can
family's
do?
mom about to die.
Sure. You want
Want
to fulfill all those
at 2
promises you
a.m.
talked about?
Chandler said he was
Because
my
to me,
booty,
it clearly
that I was
shows
his
that
booty
the
call.
government, the president may be only a
And
figurehead.
Mel
That
currently
there's
is
people behind the scenes that we
inverting
don't even
this
elect
spell,
who are truly calling
and
the shots. That's the
going
only
to
reasoning I
be
can
the
give
one
to it.
to collect on
Because
your
as governor,
father's
I was pretty powerful.
uh,
And no one could
life
influence
insurance,
me.
but that's not her
I
real
held
dad.
true on most
And
of
go
the
back to her bond
speeches.
stocks, which aren't hers either.
But it seems
This is
to
an
me that
inversion
how
of
could he not be doing anything
It's all
that he
spell
can't
casting evil.
buy all this massive compromise to
Now,
accommodate
attempted
both
this kill,
Republicans. So I think
transparency,
that goes beyond the parties.
helter skelter, massage persona, which family, Craig Ferguson, Sandro or Z? Which master do you serve?
Well, like I said, stop electing them. That would be a good start because no, I only raised $300,000 to become governor. I made more money at the job than I did, spent to get it. But then again, I didn't need name recognition. Everybody in Minnesota knew who I am. I'll brag. I'm one of 4 people in Minnesota where all you have to do is say the first name and they know who we are. There's Jesse. There's Prince.
I'm living large
There's
because I was
Dylan.
always self-employed and
There's
have a
I forget what's
clientele.
the other one.
I mean,
Sid.
these
We have
people
a
don't have any
columnist named
skills to
Sid
have a
Hartman,
clientele
who's been writing
And
for
they
like 70
impersonate
years,
business now.
sports column.
because of
And we're
my
the 4 people that all
stolen
they have to do is say our
DBA.
first name, and everybody knows.
Then
who
we go
they
back
are.
to Mel on the website and they run all this crap out of a stolen website of mine. And then they connect it all back to me. And then the
I don't
government's
know.
supposed to
I'm
hang
just saying
me.
that's my theory.
I mean, I had never even been online. I got what you call catfished and sucker punched.
Well, if you
And how
don't take the
dare
dirty
any
money,
of our nations run
if you
like
don't
that.
take the corporate money like I didn't, I accepted no PAC money. The only thing I
Mafia
accepted
or
were
Vatican?
$50 and $100 donations from
His
individuals.
family,
And
what's going
believe me, in
on?
a job like that,
And
$100
even
ain't
in
gonna
all
buy you
these
much
secret
influence.
societies.
If
There
you
were
give
the
me
good
$100
ones
and come
and the
back and
bad
listen,
ones.
I
There were
gave
the
you
ones that
$100.
wanted to kill Jesus
So
lineage,
what?
and there were the ones that wanted to protect
That's
him.
not enough money to buy the influence with me, And I can also tell you,
Janet's
since I
talking about
didn't take from
religion, but
one
I'm
lobbyist
just reading
money,
these messages.
when I got into office, I
All right,
didn't even
which
see a
master does
lobbyist.
a
I banned
bipolar
them. I
club
told my staff,
serve
tell
when
all
it
the
comes to
lobbyists
these
to go get new
players?
jobs.
And you
Because I
better
said
know
they're
they
not
made a
getting in
movie
my
about
door.
it called Men
Why
in
do you
Black.
think they wanted me gone? I don't know.
Arbiter
I got my
or
own
auditor.
ideas. I don't need a
He
lobbyist
just
trying
wants
to convince
power
me
to
what's
learn
right.
how to get away with murder.
Now granted,
And then I
agree
typed in
with
Standing
something.
Rock.
Consult them, certainly.
All
I
right,
know about
back to his
it. I'm a
appearance
great
on
commissioner.
CCM with C.
Anyway, next question.
Can you say something
December
about
9th, 2016.
JFK
He wears a t-shirt called Brian Eno.
and
I-
specifically say something about the Reagan administration?
Reagan administration. I think the effect of JFK's assassination was simple, really simple. If you can kill the president and get away with it, what can't you do? What can't you do?
And you
And
can't
like I said,
say,
we had a confession on
this
TV.
can't do it, you know what I mean?
Did I talk
Or you
about
do
that?
this, you do that.
Yeah.
And some
My
movies
show this
are
fall
the
made a
bad movies,
confession
and some
to
movies
murder
are
John Kennedy, and like it was no word in the mainstream media.
should have gone
Lee
with a
Howard
different
Hunt
place.
from Watergate confessed to his son St. John Hunt on his deathbed. He said the CIA, and it wasn't a confession of remorse, it was a confession of pride. That's what was scary about it. It was a CIA operation. It was called the Big Event. And I suppose if you're killing the president, it is a big event. You wouldn't call it the small event. And he named the people. William Harvey, who at that time headed the CIA's assassination teams when they were trying to kill Castro, and a guy named David Sanchez Morales. And he was one of their main operatives on the ground. And he's also famous for 4 years later. He was in Bolivia when they put Che Guevara up against a wall and shot and killed him. Morales was there and allegedly took Che's Rolex watch and he wore it as a trophy.
I am part of what I qualify as.
And I believe what Howard Hunt said. He would have no reason to lie.
This is a real thing that we're all dealing
He did it to his son, and St. John, his son. How many remember the three tramps in Dealey Plaza? They had these photos of the three bubbles and tramps. Well, if you look close at the old tramp, if that's not E. Howard Hunt, then he doesn't know. Because even his son looked at that photo and said, yes, I believe that's my father. So when who else for an eyewitness is better than a son? I mean, come on. So, think of your father. Think you could recognize him if you saw him in a photo? I think I could recognize mine.
about this no time.
And in so doing,
Fine.
I will eventually
sign some books.
engage.
I'd be interested if you said something about American history.
Oh, wait a minute. You want to know about Reagan?
Whereby
Just
certain
American
other
history
philosophies,
since JFK,
agendas, ideas,
how we got
spiritual
to
conceptions, metaphysical constructs.
Well,
they
again,
significantly
when they
redefine
took out Jack
all the
Kennedy, then they
design
removed our
authority.
leader
He's got
without a
beans in
vote.
his hand,
They
rosary
removed him
beans.
with a bullet. And from that point on,
Hey,
who knows?
that's pretty wild.
But
Now, seriously,
like I said, I
before I go see it,
think there's a higher authority
because
that's
I am
commanding
well
our
aware of the
government.
war.
And it's the old thing, follow the money. He who's got the money
Here's what
has
I'm
the
saying.
power. And the best I can tell, that's the Federal Reserve. They can't, Ron Paul asked for an audit.
So here's what I'm
We can't
saying.
even audit these people. And they're
Yes,
done
if you
illegally.
remember.
Did you know that? It came in like 1913 and our Constitution said that there could be nobody that could borrow the country money and charge interest. They charge us interest. These people print the money and give it to the U.S. government and then charge us interest on the money.
And before she did,
They're our
She
lending
was able to get out
institution.
before
They're
it
the
keeps
bank
second
to the
process.
U.S. government.
and I
And the
wanted to get it
Constitution
before she
that's
leaves.
against the
So,
Constitution,
let's
and
see
it
this.
was never ratified because if you're going to change the Constitution, it
making me
requires
go live
2/3
like
of the
this.
states to ratify
It's
it on a
starting to
vote.
piss me
It
off.
was never done. It was
What
never
the
done.
fuck?
We're making her go
And
sideways.
now it's too late. They're entrenched. We got the
Okay, yeah,
Federal
I'm
Reserve.
going live then. I don't know what the fucking
And
problem
just
is,
so
but for some
you,
reason,
another example quickly of why it doesn't matter electing a Democrat or
I don't know what
Republican.
the fucking deal is, but it's
For I
starting to
think
piss me
it's the
off.
last 40, 50 some years, we've had Democrat, Republican presidents back and forth.
Am I
Yet
upside down?
every
No.
secretary of the
It's never
Treasury,
upside down.
Bye, kitty.
regardless of Democrat or
All
Republican,
right,
has
fuck
come out
it,
of
never
Goldman
mind. We're not
Sachs.
figure this out. I'll be back.
None of the other ones,
Okay,
Nobody
Greg Gaffney
qualified.
says,
and any of the other
"I
ones to be
teach
Treasury
you getting
Secretary,
fed up. I
just
gotta go now.
Goldman
I
Sachs.
can't wait any longer.
So
Take it
again,
easy,
it doesn't
bro.
matter if you're Democrat or
The name of
Republican,
that
the
channel
Treasury
is Greg
Secretary
Gaffney.
comes out of Goldman Sachs.
So,
Or seems to
put this one up real quick.
Any final question? Wow, you guys are good. You haven't asked me no stuff about wrestling.
Greg
I mean, I usually always get a question. This, what do you got for me? What about wrestling?
Sorry, not about wrestling.
Okay.
So it's hard enough to imagine one person having the integrity
In my
to
brain,
effect
something
changes, but the
here.
government is not just one person. While you're a governor, you have secretaries, and there's a huge bureaucracy
Years
underneath.
ago.
And it's
That's
one
how long
person,
they've been trying to kill me
is
off.
one white
Also
person at the
tried
top
to
really
get on
sufficient to
May
change
29th,
things, or do you have
2019
any
with the
plans
crazy
or
bomb.
any ideas how
Batman
that
had
one person can
Manhattan
bring
Antique
changes to find
Corporation.
more white person?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. You can't make major changes Because the bureaucracy is so big, you usually can't. You can simply nudge it over a little and get it going in the right direction, hopefully. But we're talking here revolution. By not electing Democrats and Republicans and making a wholesale change, that's revolution. And if that happens, then wholesale changes can happen. But right now, it's just simply all Democrats and Republicans. You're exactly correct. You might get minute little changes, but nothing of any significance. We've got to cleanse ourselves of these two parties before you do anything. And if that doesn't happen, I agree, there won't be great change.
Bravo.
Just small. Thank you very much.
Excellent words from Mr. Ventura and Jesse. And take it from
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I'm going to ask your indulgence on two things. It's allergy season, so I have
No insurance? Aspen Dental has you covered with a free new patient exam and x-rays for relief.
Break the cycle and contact Warren Pratt. T is for tooth. So all these ads and all these cartoons mocking teeth. When they stole all my data and content, had illegal fundraisers, made money and mocked me that I can't take care of my teeth. Well, why does it matter if we're all gonna die? I'm not really into the cosmetic need to go into a plague-ridden, alleged place where I'm gonna get work done, top-notch place, thousands of dollars, and have to worry about being poisoned. And it wouldn't be by the dentist or the oral surgeon or even the nurses. It'd be some inside weirdo planet. So happy tree friends. Break the cycle blurb. It doesn't say anything about teeth. So let's report this right away. It's spam and misleading. I can't have it infringe my rights, then I have to fill out a long form, and I'm not going through the hassle of it. It's a mass advertising. Okay. This is actually not for kids. The title is bogus. It is a mockumentary about teeth. Tag St. Louis baby tooth experiments from 1962. Sodium 90 contamination of human bones. Because teeth are like bones. Tag it and go back to engineering the human. There it is. All right, let's hear the rest of it. It's 2:23 for 18 seconds in. Toothy is very handy. More so than handy because he has friends. Birds like to build their nests out of hard metal objects. Tag Phillies. Toothy once finished 12. He was later disqualified. Brakes are great for stopping fights. Tag the whole thing about when we searched Brake Happy. It was all about how to mess up somebody's brakes. Or starting fires. Tag Burn It Down. slow motion tool of the lazy director is what this cartoon says for kids. Happy tree friends break the cycle blurb. Whoa, that was prepare to wince in 2 seconds. And this cartoon character's rectum has now been breached with a metal pole, and he is bleeding as he's riding down the street on his motorcycle. Seeing that it's lumpy, the fact that he's trying to pour it in the right hole should be considered a victory. You've got a character now in a red, white, and blue Superman suit that says, seeing that it's lumpy, the fact he's trying to pour it in the right hole should be considered a victory. And it's oil, tag lube. It's a moose. The ramp is actually a finished bridge built by hand. The moose is now on fire. A little animal came racing by on his little motorcycle, and the oil automatically caught fire, and the moose has one antler up, one down. They're shaped like E's. Toothy is excellent at flying. Okay, now what just happened here is exactly what happened to Joe's best friend, Mark Ruppel. He was doing a jump on a motorcycle, and he missed just by a fraction and snapped his neck. And now this character is dead on the ground, usually in first class thought. Okay, so he's going to make the jump, and his neck is going to break. Hang on, here we go. He's crying, and his face is torn up, and his guts are hanging out. It said something about the Tour de Force. Hang on. The Tour de France will disqualify you if you use beaver intestines as a bike chain. Here again, this is a cartoon for children. Episodes, games, and contests, visit http://www.mondomedia.com. So you're telling me this is for kids. 5,000 thumbs up, 225 down. It is absolutely not for kids. Kitty Rainbow says 6 years ago, something tells me Andy didn't like this episode, with 75 thumbs up. 6 replies. Oh, he created 180 accounts to dislike this video. Well, I don't like the video either. I'm going to go over to the 3 dots and hit report and say child abuse. That's sick. Cartoons, graphic violence, and kids. Author Chile says he must have been clicked on the wrong button. I'm going to report it. It's unwanted commercial content. And this is spam. JADICTHE Hot Wheels Eliminator said not 180, 192. Well, now we're going to say it's harassing someone else. The average person 5 months ago says 196. Now I know it's harassing, and they're harassing me as we go. You think I just fall into this stuff? Report the average person. Alexander Stick Notes Production and GDMC in brackets 4 months ago says 212. That means the numbers are going up. Hate speech and graphic violence. This is how this war has been fought. And everybody says I'm irrelevant. Really. Because the Mondo workers made fun of him for having hands covered completely in bandages. Tag Max Spears. And this comment comes in from Spumso Mini Shows Incorporated Direct 3 weeks ago. Because the Mondo workers made fun of him. They didn't make fun of anyone. This is about harassing and bullying me because there's men. They're trying to cyber rape me and kill me, and there's other men trying to defend me. That Spumco had the 2 dots over the U. Friendly Stick Boy 8 months ago. At 55 seconds in wants to know, and that's how Toothy lost his virginity. Let's go back to the teenage years and a first kiss. And tag Scott, because everybody's talking about Scott. And here again, I wouldn't get this man angry. He came along angry. He was a good-looking young man, and somebody hurt him really bad. Not me. It's harassing somebody else. Alex, the Kiss tune, 18536 says, oh geez, God, that's a cringe moment. Better believe it, it's hate speech. Ghost Lumpy's Marvel new hero. Oh, Marvel Comics. Really? Now we're back to Elvis needing to consult Marvel Comics to even live out a day as himself. That's harassment. And it's somebody else. It's any man that ever watched, listened, or took into consideration the messages behind the cartoon. And me too, but I'm sticking up for men right now. Can't do both. And they say I'm a man. All right, Kitty Rainbow 17 says, something tells me Andy didn't like this episode. We already know that. With the 6 replies, I'm back at the top. I'm just spamming it all with just bullshit. And yet kids watch this. Ghosty Lumpy Rider. Yeah, people die when these metal poles get shoved in them. Maybe it's even a dildo. What do I know? R.I.P. Foodie's nuts. Yeah. Here again. This is manufactured spam. Paroxysm says I see sneaky truffles behind a tree. Really? You see pigs? You see policemen? What do you see? I'm saying it's harassing somebody else. Play this at 0.25x for maximum effect. Oh, okay, J.B. and Williams. Thanks for your idiocy. Spam. Commercial content. This show is like an animal version of Cyanide and Happiness. Cyanide and Happiness, that's hate speech and graphic violence. Oh, you saw Cops too. ROCLOZ 5 years ago. Hey, that's when I started talking online. Why was Crow, Marmot, and Mime featured? Let's see the reply from a genius. Flynn Flam says, I am very awesome, so no one can die. It is HFT for a reason. Here again, that's like saying it's Antifa for a reason. They make up these letters and these symbols for words and then cause war. Slowing it down to 0.25 before the disaster from the toothy fan. Here again, more hate speech, but we're just gonna say it's unwanted commercial content. Some people say I take it too seriously, like my life. Why was pro-mail? Why won't this go? I am very awesome. I've already told you to leave. Sometimes certain ones won't leave. Damn, Cro-Magnon had the most brutal death, takes him back to 0. And that comes from Narasia, GHRI, and Gringa. And they started at 10. Thumbs up to go back to the beginning. They're spell casting. And that is definitely hate speech and graphic violence. Prepared to be sued by Marvel. Ghost Rider Lumpy 7 years ago from SOH Guy, capital SOH Guy. Prepared to be sued by Marvel. Right, because Marvel didn't make this shit. This guy's right. Harassing someone else. Marvel Comics. Lose those text bubbles. Philip Lee, prepare to be sued again. That's because they're using somebody's content and changing it and putting it out as their own. Unwanted commercial content. Right, even the maker of it didn't make it for this bloody mess. I get the Ghost Rider reference. Well, good. Then you should tag Nicolas Cage. Unwanted commercial content again. Yay, Ghost Rider, Marvel is coming for you. Oh, we got threats going on. I changed unknown user 577 2 years ago. Yeah, this is Big Kid Games. Truffles is behind the tree of left. Well, that's spam because you can't even say the sentence right. Hardcore prostrate exam. Yeah, for kids. Child abuse. Timothy's tail is down, now his tail's up after the ramrod. That's sexually explicit material about sodomy. For kids. Toothy gets a polished bike ride. Tag Polish. Tag Joe Polish from Piranha Marketing. Unwanted commercial content. I still got his original paperwork too. Jackie Chu. Someone is spying on him. You guys have all been watching me through ManyCam.com and harassing me. But this is about harassing the man behind the mission. There's truffles in the tree. A lot about these truffles. Pigs hunt those, right? Pigs are cops to these idiots. I'm a cop's kid. I heard it too many times. You could at least call them a cop. How dare you call them a pig? They're a police officer. And I call them that too. Police officers. Look how mine just forgot to look around. Yeah, these video games are spy tools. Now you're harassing me. Here's the spelling of the name. FAIQHAZIMEKAYUDHA 122. Whenever I watch Happy Tree Friends, my insides hurt. It's a good kind of hurt. Here again, it is unwanted commercial content. Seeing that it is Lumpy, the fact he is trying to get himself killed, is a victory to us all. Tag Wally from Leave It to Beaver, his friend Lumpy. And they want to see somebody die. Graphic violence. This is so wrong on so many levels. I love it. That comes from the hacker known as 4chan. Isn't that important, this 4chan and 8chan? Harassing me. Report hacker known as 4chan. One word, hacker known as 4chan. Prepare to be sued by Marvel. Ha. Funny joke, XP. That comes from the Fox brother. None of this is a damn joke. This is hate speech and graphic violence for kids. And you're ramming metal poles up little kids' butts, dressed as Furbies, and blood coming out of their center of their body. Truffles on a tree. I'm so sick of this truffles crap. It's just unwanted. And they're here right now and they're loading us. Because why would there be so many comments from an ignorant kids cartoon that has seen 539,849 views on the Deathloop year, known as 2013, July 11th? When does the new Happy Tree Friends come out? Never. Spider monkeys, squirrels are these bottles that dance on the fence and shoot at you. Lich the Sham. Wahaha, keeps on being funny. I just love Tree Friends. Yeah, crackheads watch spider monkeys in the trees, is what I've heard. You know, hallucinations. I've never had them. That hurts you too, crybaby. Oh, I feel so sorry for you, Boo Boo Kitty, but you're harassing me. Report crybaby. Key, explain it. Serious D Viking. At 2 minutes and 2 seconds in, spellcasting on time. The blurb would be great at cinema, show, or TV sins. That's from Sushi Bird. That's gross. Birds eat raw fish. And that's how worms and parasites spread, especially when you feed them to them. Like Miss Wonderful does, her dog boy. Matthew Love. I love the part where Lumpy turns into Ghost Rider, Lumpy Rider. Like I said, Nicolas Cage played Ghost Rider. This show makes me sick. I don't know why I watch it. Well, because you're sick, Vince. You probably abuse kids. Oh, that's Ghost Rider. Yeah. K-Log. Lifestyle. Whatever. Yeah, you're harassing Nicolas Cage. No doubt. Or Scott. Or even Craig Ferguson. Bob Hamburger. Lumpy reminds me of my dad, but without the frequent deaths. Now you're mocking cops. Harassing me. Oh yeah. Some cops are pretty incredible. And they can't stand criminals that kill people. Morbidity 100. I like the bubbles. Helps me laugh at misery. That's gas. We'll keep it commercial. Unwanted commercial content instead of sodomy. Yes, that's what I wrote in a D after my sentence. Crime G. Went to jail 7 years ago. You sure? Or you spellcasting on 7? Either way it goes. I've been in a prison all my life. St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, that's nasty. Oh yeah, it's just a cow town. Really? It's a secret city, idiots. David, EVGEN, you get used to it. P, it only took me 4 years and some counseling. What, to do everything you guys did to me? I wasn't even here 7 years ago. That was 2013 when the fake file, Groovy Wobble Pass, was put on my computer in Ferguson, corner coffee house, pre-election. How much more of this is there? Oh, it's viral. It keeps going. I'm scrolling down the page a whole bunch of times. 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And that's how they get you. This is terrible. Counting for dangerous acts. Abuses of fire and explosives. Absolutely. Tag. Marvel. Comics versus these fools who make violent, bloody content for kids. For kids. Calling pigs cops is the connect to truffles and anal breach. All right, we're out of there. We're going to go to the channel Mondo Media. He's still alive. And inconvenient, too. Tag the root canals that usually kill people. There's a whole bunch of channels here. Comedy Blender, Epic Face Fist, Nick Keller, Animeme, Weeble's Stuff, Pencilmation, Peephole Circus, Wider Robot, Lennon J.A. Blog, Flash Blitz are the featured channels. I'm going over to About, blocking the user, reporting the user. This is harassment, cyberbullying, privacy, impersonation, violent threats, child endangerment, hate speech against a protected group, spam and scams, and none of these are your issue. Wow, I would never tell some authority at some alleged YouTube security that it's not their issue. We're gonna hit child endangerment. Joe Cartoon, stop struggling. Devoid, don't bug me. The Alien Guide to Earth. Devoid, catch my drift. Cat Agent, Into the Darkness. Cat Agent, Kiss Kiss Bang. Happy Tree Ferns. Cat Agent, Stuffed. And the name of it is Dildos. I'm gonna click that one. Cat Agent, Tipping the Scales. You know cats mean P-U-S-S-Ys. Bigfoot Gambler, full episode. Yeah, tag Big Boots to Bigfoot. Bigfoot Endangered clip. Turbo Fantasy Real Super. Bigfoot, Everybody's a Critic. The Alien Guide to Earth with a couple sword fighting dudes. Bigfoot, Busy Clip, Bigfoot Chase, Daddy and the Big Boy. Tag Big Boots. Tag Elvis. Tag his son that nobody says he has. Bigfoot meets girl, Bigfoot, Bigfoot aliens, daddy and big boy. That's pretty gross. Turbo fantasy, head trap. Oh, a bunch of nice little boys in the locker room. Master of Castles, Ginger Orphan Playhouse. Brogan, Master of Cat. Oh my gosh. On and on. His last one is Gary and his Demons premiere. All right. Gary's got a lot of demons. This is the third report and investigation. Mondo Media. Mondo Media is an approved YouTube partner by the check mark of excellence. Stamp. There you go. Good luck to everybody. Okay, let's click out of that. And of course, I'm still here. And we're back to Channer, and we've heard Mel's 42-second bullshit, remember? One more time, just so nobody forgets. This is lots to talk about today. 1,100 views streamed 4 hours ago. Hashtag reality TV. Hashtag Miss Wonderful. Welcome to the shit show. Like me or love me, I'm real. No, she's not real. She's a psychopath. That doesn't mean she's real. That means she is a criminal. And you guys love her here on YouTube.
Okay, it is making me go live like this. This is starting to piss me off. What the fuck? Okay, maybe I won't be going live today. I don't know what the fucking problem is, but for some reason, my camera's messing up. I don't know what the fucking deal is, but it's starting to piss me off. It's a YouTube problem, not mine. You guys, am I upside down to you guys?
You're sideways.
You guys are upside down to me.
Blow me sideways.
All right, fuck it. Never mind. Until I figure this out, I'll be back.
All right.
And not everyone will like it. Plenty of people will say, that's fascism, or that's you're trying to turn into organized religion, or it's a scam, or you're trying to fool people, or just the premise itself that you're engaged in trying to propagate religion or a faith in and of itself is reprehensible. Because religion and faith is a thing. Yes, it's not going to be for everybody. I'm not trying to convert the world. I don't have the word ITCCS Prague debunked.
She's got the virus. She's got the virus.
No one has to speculate. If you want to say that I'm agreeing to cancel for failing on just doing it for this news, I guess I'm going to make it hard or something, right? But I have to be authentic. The fact of the matter is, I don't have to lie to get views. I can tell you what the problems I have with Gordon's content is. I can tell you why I think that trans-channeling can be seen in this light, but not the other. Knowing full well that people, even people I consider friends or friendly with, will contact me and be like, "Hey!" Just take a look. I've brought it up before, and I'll bring it up again. You know, there's times in our lives when we can successful or unsuccessful relationships be everything. Sometimes when we look back at unsuccessful relationships, we just get taken for a run. whether it's a sexual partner or an romantic partner, whether it's just a friend.
Let me get back over here to chat.
Or someone we think is our friend.
Somebody that you think is your friend. Now, I know Craig Ferguson somehow is a good person that has done some bad things. Somehow CW is in his lineage of familiars. So is Biggie Boho. And now I'm going to go back over to Craig. And he's sitting with Jason Schwartzman and Willie Nelson. This is October 24th, 2015. It was uploaded. That's 2 months after I went online on YouTube speaking. And he has a stigmata wound on his side. And it's 9/24/2010. So let's hear it, Craig. Because I just asked you which master you serve. Betty White.
That's Wildwood. They call it Wildwood. Most expensive. Be careful.
Jack James Crosby.
Wow.
Broadway and musical. Let's go, Craig. Oh, wait, you're gonna do a double start.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
God damn it. You guys are damaging me. Don't stop.
All right, that's enough of that. And then I really pretty much think that is enough. And I'll do the important stuff tomorrow. Peace out.